Oh,
Yo, yo. Mic
Are we
checks.
on?
Mike
Cheese
check.
bags. You here in
Mic
chat?
checks.
Can you hear us all?
Mic checks, mic checks.
Cheese is here in the
And
chat.
we are here.
I think we're good. All right, so what's going on, everybody? This
What it
is the second ever episode of Tavern Talk. We started this like a year ago, me, Cheese Bags, and Perry, when Hardcore was announced. And it was a lot of fun to do, so we figured we'd bring it back. So what Tavern Talk basically is going to be is just not really like an official podcast, but really just kind of like a hangout session with me and some guildies, possibly other creators as well. So tonight, for our first ever Season of Discovery version of Tavern Talk, we have Pudding. If you want to give yourself a little introduction, we'll go around the table.
The best, worst main tank in the world,
Pretty much the worst.
pretty much.
And we have Glorious. How's it going, Glorious?
Hi, Mom. I'm gonna be the casual guy. I'm the reason why WoW is bad. Okay, they are the hardcore guys.
And we got Semp.
I am
What's up, Semp?
the best mediocre DPS you will ever see.
He is the best mediocre DPS you'll ever see. He's the guild baby. So we have to
Yes.
take care of him in this podcast.
Yes, I am quite a youngling compared to everyone else.
And Shibby, what's going on, dude?
Yeah, I do the furry stuff, but I don't.
Ooh.
I don't waste no globals on fairy fire.
All right, cool. So
And he never innervates anybody but
Never.
himself.
Yeah, well, I gotta make sure I have mana.
I was gonna say that's the only way, dude. Shibby, aren't you ranked super high? I'm pretty sure
Yeah,
Frustrated sent me a screenshot of you being ranked pretty high.
I don't know.
Why innervate a healer when you can innervate yourself and the boss dies faster?
Yeah, I agree.
Okay.
I agree.
I don't
This
have
is
to
true.
heal them.
So we have like a list of like topics to talk about. I'm sure that we're probably going to get off the list and not really talk about all of these things. But if we want to start out, I think a good place to start here, since there is a lot happening right now with all these class changes and all that stuff, to basically just say what you know what everyone's been up to so far in Phase 3 right now in Season of Discovery. And Shibby, if you wanna hit the jump there.
Okay. Well, recently it's been like Argent Crusade or Argent Dawn, and whatever the Furball Timbermaw rep grinding, because kind of out of content. Got exalted with whatever the wardens very quickly. Once a week we're raiding. So I
And that's
kinda
really
ran
it,
out of
right?
content pretty quick. So yeah, I'm just kind of doing 60 prep at this point.
Yeah. What about you, Semp?
Oh man, bro, like where do I start? Farming the warden's rep, that's something, all right. Mostly making most of my gold off of alchemy, trying to work up the courage to make another alt. I'm a one character Andy. I've always been that way.
Yeah.
But I mean, I'm trying to decide on what my alt even wants to be. I don't know if I want to make a hunter. I don't know if I want to make a rogue. I don't want to be another caster because I don't want to just chase after the same gear that I've been chasing after on my warlock the entire time. And now, of course, the cheese bags is back on a shadow priest.
Yep.
There's another person that I got to compete with again. Awesome.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, you may want to go with a hunter, to be honest, after what we've been seeing the past few hours here.
I mean, that's what I'm working on. Is if I'm gonna do a horde ult, yeah, I'm just definitely gonna be a hunter.
Definitely, hunter's a lot of fun. Glorious, how about you?
I think I'm gonna be raid logging. So my average play time for the past 2 months was very high, so I gotta have to push it down. No, I mean, I was just primarily playing for getting the best in slot gears and all that. And now that it's done, everything else is gonna be like, we'll see if I'm gonna have to find the time. I would like to grind PvP. I'm rank 5. I know everyone else is rank 7, so if I want to play, I could still do a lot. But we'll see. I mean, I think the raid is gonna be also good fun every week. I mean, Shibi can tell you, like, last season it was also like raid logging. So
Yeah.
we're back, baby.
Yeah, oh yeah.
We got SPV to do though, Glorious. I'm gonna drag you.
Yeah.
back.
Wait, you guys
We'll
just
get you your honor. We'll get...
Oh, you're gonna do it for honor? That's what I was gonna ask. What are you still getting from STV?
I would first jump off the bridge, then doing STV for honor.
It's so bad now, dude. It's so bad.
Like y'all going for like, are the old honor accommodations still in, or are you talking about the new ones?
I think you can
The
only
new,
get the new
you can only get the new ones, yeah.
Yeah.
Y'all are trying to bank them up for next phase?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
That's what you did last phase, dude.
Yeah, when it was when it was a feasible thing to do. Now it's a little rough.
Yeah, but you got to think next phase we're getting Alterac Valley, so getting honor is gonna be.
That's what Cheese said to me. Yeah, I was like,
Yeah.
man, this is gonna suck ranking next phase, and he's like, yeah, Alterac Valley, no, it won't. I'm like, yeah, I guess that's true.
Yeah, just
And now that
staying there.
Warlock is actually fun to play in PvP.
Yep.
Oh my god, maybe it's not gonna be that bad.
Yeah. What about you,
But,
Pudding?
I mean-
I know you've been doing a lot.
I've been gold farming for Arcanite bars for next phase, so I can ensure that I get the first Thunder Fury over your
Oh,
ass.
here we go.
Right,
again.
right.
Yeah, because it goes to the main tank, not the DPS.
What if I switch to main tank?
I would thank you.
What
I
if
would really
playing
I would-
Warrior DPS in Season of Discovery is so incredibly boring and awful that I just switch to being a tank, dude?
I would thank you, and I would swap over to a non-working Seal Twist.
I mean, at the end of the day, you could technically switch to tank. Literally just be like an Asmongold type thing. All you do is click one button and you get all the loot.
It's just
I'm
true.
Sure,
just
yeah.
saying.
I've thought about it, honestly. I thought about it with this phase. I'm like, man, I wish I was tanking because playing Warrior DPS is so incredibly boring. I love the class, and that's why I've stuck with it. But I hate it so much in Season of Discovery. It is awful.
I'm gonna go ahead and call it right now. First Molten Core run, when the binding drops, something is gonna happen with his Gargle add-on, and he won't be able to give.
Wait,
the
we
binding
already
to anybody.
agreed, though, that I was going to get the first Thunder Fury, right? I thought we
No,
agreed on this. We
no,
did
no,
the
we
other
didn't.
night.
No,
Remember,
we
I was
didn't.
like, okay, the only way I'll agree for you getting the first Thunder Fury would be if Arms is Biss somehow. And then I'm going to just go for Hanorag.
I'm going to Shrimp Gang. They'll treat me better.
Now, does
Oh,
Biss count as because Fury right now is technically better than Arms,
It is,
but
it
it's
is.
just feels awful to play. So, like, are you counting Biss as in like actual Biss, or Biss in it just is better to play?
Actual Biss.
Okay.
Actual Biss, yeah. Maybe.
It-
I doubt it would be. What,
He
Chippy?
has said for the past 2 phases, I'm gonna play Fury. Tries it one raid. I don't like it. I'm going back to Arms.
Dude, it sucks. It's nothing like classic Fury. It's absolutely nothing like it. It's horrible. It really is. Like the last raid we did, I was actually depressed midway through the raid. I was like, this is horrible.
But
Yeah,
It
I
felt so
I mean,
bad.
why is it bad? Why the rotation?
Consume-
What was the problem?
Consumed
me,
by
it's just
rage
consumed by
feels
rage.
yeah, I think that's like the biggest part of it. It just feels so bad to have to play around consumed by rage, whereas like the old Fury, you would just charge in and play like a Fury Warrior. You smash your buttons. Yes, you're queuing Heroic Strike and stuff like that, but your biggest worry was like not overcapping on rage, right, and wasting rage. With this consumed by rage like play style, it just feels horrible trying to like balance your rage. You know what it really feels like? I don't know if anyone here has played Arcane Mage in TBC, but I keep comparing it to that, like having to manage your mana like that. So you basically have to manage your rage. You have to be swapping to battle stance for overpowers, but not wasting too much rage because you need to make sure enrage stays up. It's like an awful playstyle, and it's really not fun. And I'm sure there's people out there that like it, but it is definitely the only warrior playstyle that I've seen so far that I do not enjoy. And then like I leveled that Undead Rogue over on Crusader Strike, and I feel like I've been playing SOD for the first time since it came out. It's like the most fun thing ever.
So, like, what do
So-
you even do as an Arms Warrior?
Sad.
Do you just like
Arms
stand
warrior?
Heroic Strike?
Dude, you're mortal striking, you're
Or Mortal
very
Strike,
rarely heroic striking. Pretty much when I have a ton of rage, you're spamming hamstring to proc wild strikes. You have sweeping strikes for trash, so it's so much more fun in my opinion, but it is what it is. I'm going to stick with it. It's my favorite class. Maybe next phase we'll get something cool instead of just some percentage buffs.
No,
Bladestorm, bro. Just give him
Blade
Bladestorm.
Yeah, Bladestorm
Nope.
would be really nice, to be honest.
The problem is the toolkit for a warrior is classic wise already pretty decent, so all they can do is give passive effects.
Yeah, that's what they said. Agron said that in the tweet, that they can't because rage is not normalized. So like if they do other things, more damage
Oh
equals
my!
more
If
rage
they, if
equals
they
more
if they
damage.
yeah if they normalized rage, you'd see so many warriors
Yeah.
quitting.
It would be absolutely
Give
I would not play warrior. I would reroll something else completely as my main if they did that. I really would.
give hunters focus instead of mana.
Yeah, that I could
I
see
think that-
fitting at this point, to be honest, especially with
Yeah.
melee hunters. But all right, let's move on to one of our next topics here. Want to know pretty much how everyone in here is enjoying Phase 3 so far. So I post videos, I make community posts here on YouTube, and I get a lot of mixed answers. I'm not going to put anyone on blast on this podcast, but I get a lot of both sides. So I want to know how you guys are feeling, and we could start off with Glorious.
I really enjoy it actually. So I think that really the hard part for creating WoW content is to make enough that everyone can play for a long time, but
Right.
not too much that people like me who do not play that much typically. Okay, I was pumping now, but not normally, and they feel like they can accomplish something, even if you play only 1 or 2 hours. And I feel like Phase 3 is better. Phase 2 was a bit underwhelming for me. It's like the content ran out too fast, and retail is too much. And I think this is the right balance. I mean, I can still go to do dungeons. For instance, that's the thing that I hate in the last phase. You just went into the raid, and that's it. I mean, you could get all the loot from the raid, but from the dungeons here, and you can go PvP. You can still get gear upgrades from Emerald, whatever that's called, the reputation from. So I like that there is some diversity, but it's not too much.
Right.
So if I don't play, I'm not gonna be falling too much behind. So I thumbs up for me.
So it's like a good middle ground between retail and classic, right? That's kind of how I feel too. Yeah, I agree. What about you, Pudding?
We could have went straight to Phase 4 and I'd have been happy. I don't understand why we did this phase. I'm gonna be honest. The incursions, we missed the gold making because we didn't know how to do it. The incursions when we went, so we missed out on all that gold. Now the economy is overinflated.
Yep. Yeah, and if you missed that initial jump of making all that money, that's it.
The once a week, like, because they let us get, which I took advantage of myself, but because they let us do the honor coins from STV last phase, PvP, I haven't had to do any PvP this phase at all to get the gear.
Right.
So that was kind of a bummer. Which
wait, now if you could go back and change that, do you think it's a better idea for them to have not let you do that and make you have to farm it in this phase?
I do.
Yeah.
I do believe it'd have been better.
I agree.
The raids, I don't mind the raid. The raid's decent, but it's once a week with minimal content because we put it all in easy mode as the gamers we are. So I don't know.
We are gamers, yeah.
Like the whole strategy from 2004 of trying to figure out how to play the game has gone out the window. We've got it min max to make it as easy as possible for ourselves.
Yeah. Yeah. What about you, Sam?
I mean, I would definitely say this is probably the second best phase. This is obviously way better than Phase 2.
Yeah.
I think we can all agree on that.
Yeah. Yes.
Way better.
Yeah.
More
definitely.
content to do, more stuff. I do kind of agree with Pudding, though, that I don't think we really needed this phase. I personally think this Phase 3 could have just been I think Phase 3 could have been 60, and maybe Phase 4 could have been like more content at 60. I think capping 10 levels behind max level is a little weird. It's just the content that they gave us. Like, it's like Pudding said, I do agree because I also took advantage of the honor system with the STB. I spent all my coins instead of on the Raptor. I spent all of them on honor.
Yeah, I know. I've been
even had
farming
the
AB
PvP,
alone.
especially now with Warlocks being fun in PvP, right? So that kind of sucks, but I don't know. I definitely think the phase is a lot better. I've had a lot more fun. I've played a lot more in this phase than in Phase 2. Obviously, most of my time has just been kind of, logging on, doing my alchemy potions, you know. But
Yeah.
I mean, now that I realized I should probably do the Emerald Wardens just to get it out of the way, because you never know, right? I don't know if they're gonna add anything else with that reputation later on. I don't know what they're gonna add, but overall, I would probably give, if I had to rank it on a scale of 1 to 10, I'd probably give Phase 3 like a 7 out of 10. I like something that Glorious mentioned with dungeons being able to give you
Yeah.
some of your bisc gear, even just pre-bisc gear that's, only a
Yeah.
margin below the raid gear. So it's not like it's that big of a deal if you're missing out on it. I definitely think that's a good addition, but I personally definitely think we could have just gone straight to 60 rather than 50. I feel like it's just kind of an awkward middle ground that I don't think we needed to hit.
Yep. Yep. So are you
Well,
enjoying phase 3 or are you
I'm
not enjoying
definitely
it?
enjoying it a lot more than phase two. I would say I'm having a lot more fun. I mean, it's just like we had in that one raid in phase two when we were all just like, dude, this sucks.
Yeah. Yeah, phase
But
2
definitely, I
sucked.
would say
Let's
I'm
be real.
enjoying phase three a lot, especially as a warlock. Even though I don't have the damage of Lake of Fire, I like the conflagrate gameplay a lot more than the Lake of Fire gameplay. Even though I kind of miss the damage,
Yep.
I would say I'm definitely having a lot of fun though.
Cool. What about you, Shib?
Definitely my least favorite phase. Like,
Really?
Oh,
All
really?
right.
Ooh.
We have an
I
outlier. Here we go.
well, the main thing is like every phase they've stuck in like some sort of new PvP thing or whatever. So they went with the wardens this time, which I'm fine with PvE stuff. I like them both, but I mean, I thought it was just horrible. It took a lot of the fun out of the leveling of classic. There's no classic feel to leveling, which I absolutely love, even though I'm an end game like sweaty player. Um, like they're just not fun. I
Yeah.
grinded to exalted and I get this trinket that forces you to come back into the incursions to farm stuff, but there's never anything there, so that was a waste.
But
Like I
yeah,
was even one of
it
I was
got
one of the
nerfed.
first ones to get it, and like I still can't find anything. And so I thought the incursions are terrible. The raid's fun, but they nerfed it I think too fast. So it's just kind of on
Yeah.
farm
I agree
too
with
quick.
that for sure. I mean that
Like
that nerfing it that quick was stupid in my opinion.
well, I was watching your stream the other night when you're on your rogue and you're doing a non-Discord pug, and you
Yeah.
guys had like 2 wipes, and I'm like, they're just blowing right through this. Like,
Yeah. No
so I don't know.
Discord, nothing.
I felt like this has been the least amount of content, and like the content they put in just has been lacking. Like, I'm still
Yeah.
having fun with the game, but I feel like I'm just trying to do a lot more of the original vanilla classic stuff at this point rather than any season discovery stuff.
Yeah. And that's a good point. Like it really I'm kind of indifferent with the incursions. I like them from a leveling aspect. In terms of the way Season of Discovery has gone, it feels like they've really like shifted course where like in the beginning it was all about discovery and like trying to make it how it was the first time when you experienced classic, like 15, 16, 17 years ago. And it really did feel like that in phase 1. But once phase 2 dropped, it changed. Like it's almost like they completely changed how they wanted to go forward with Season of Discovery, where like now they just wanted you to hit the max level as fast as possible. They want everyone to just be able to clear the raids on week 1. And I think looking at it from that aspect, I completely agree with you that it takes away from like the classic leveling experience, right? It's not very grindy. It's not like a grueling thing that takes you forever. Like that rogue that I leveled, I did that in 6 or less hours from 40 to 50.
So yeah, 40 to 50 is faster than 5 to 15.
Yeah, correct. Yeah, exactly. And you're right. That doesn't feel like classic. But in terms of Season of Discovery, to me, how Season of Discovery is, where you're basically the content is to just be max level and then farm PvP or do the raid or whatever. It seems like they just want you to play a ton of alts. I like it in that aspect, but I agree. It doesn't feel like like classic leveling.
Right.
So I could definitely see why you feel that way.
But isn't that what every like by core? I mean, that's why there is retail. That's the whole story over and over again. There is a maximum level content. That's the end game. The end game is where everyone is trying to get to as fast as possible, and every expansion, everything is going around what's in the end game, how long that you need to play the end game, and how far behind are you if you are not leveling like everyone else, like using the emerald thing, right? And that's what I'm saying. People like me, that's why WoW is bad.
Right.
I actually like leveling, but then again, same thing. If I have a choice to level like 10 times faster and then make a ton of gold in the process, obviously I'm gonna go with the easier path, right?
Right.
And so
Everybody is.
I get that. I think that if we look at the end game, I kind of like it. I don't like the fact that, as I think that's an interesting point about kind of missing the discovery part of it, right? Like normally it should have been like searching for the runes, but it's like day one, even day two, you don't have the new runes, then you're probably behind on DPS and whatnot, because that's kind of same stories. The rune is like a piece of gear, same thing. It's not like something you have to figure out.
Right. And
Well,
I mean,
they made these incursions. Sorry.
no, go ahead, Jibby.
Yeah, they just like when they brought them out. They said, we're gonna do this so people aren't just dungeon grinding. We're gonna get them back out in the world. But basically, is everybody instanced doing this at an accelerated rate? So basically, it was like dungeon grinding, but with the added effect of like the opposite faction griefing the quest giver.
Right.
So
I personally still think the incursions should have been obviously everyone probably agrees they should have been instanced. I would assume. I think it should have been more of like a scenario from like
That's what I
Warlord
originally
and
thought it was
Draenor
going to be, to be honest.
type thing. Like more of like it gives you objectives to do, and you have to complete that objective before you can go on to the next one. Personally, that's what I thought it was going to be like.
Yep.
yeah, I wish those were fun.
I'd say it should have been instanced like a scenario and not spammable. Like make it, you go in, you get all the quests that you could pick up if you have a full group of 5, but you can only do it like once a day.
Right.
Not something you can spam over and over again for.
I would much more prefer that. I would prefer it to be a once a day thing and it gives you a lot of rep than not giving you a lot of rep and you can just spam it over and over again, because then you just lose your mind doing it. Like,
oh yeah, it was definitely
trust
something.
me, and I'm doing it. I play a caster. I want to get that ring, bro. That proc 66 spell power on a 10% chance. That's literally insane.
I did it for the trinket that Shibby was talking about.
I'm doing it for the gold, bro.
Spent 3 hours using it yesterday, and after 3 hours of farming with it, only made about 100 gold worth of sellable stuff.
Yep.
Dang, that was better than me. I had it for like an hour and a half, and I didn't find a single node, and I just gave up. I haven't gone back.
I went real quick to YouTube, found somebody that was doing the farm, and copied all of his waypoints into the add-on, and just ran the loop.
I'm just doing incursions for obviously the ring. I'm gonna get exalted, but I'm also doing it because it does give you, like, if you take the time and you do the kill quest over time, it does eventually give you a lot of gold. And I'm definitely trying to have over 1,000 gold before phase 4 drops.
Yeah.
And each one of the little herbs you can click on is on an hour cooldown. So after I'd get a couple, I would do a layer hop to go to someone else's and take them. I was jumping layers like crazy in my 3 hours.
So we got 2 comments in chat that I want to bring to you guys, because I feel like I've heard this a lot. So the first one's from Daniel that says, I feel they rushed this phase due to the Kata beta coming out. They just pushed out whatever they had and they'll fix it later. Do you guys feel that is true? Because I've actually seen this a lot.
You can go.
No, you go ahead first. You go first.
It was rushed. It was rushed. It was rushed, but it had to be put out because phase 2 was already dead.
Right.
Like we had already broken up as a raid group, and we're tired of doing no merc. So I mean, they had to put it out. But I believe that I understand they are one classic team, putting classic out and Season of Discovery.
Right.
I think they should be 2 separate entities. You have one working on seasonal stuff, and then a whole nother team that is just doing the current classic whatever expansion they're in.
Right.
Then you got.
Yeah, I don't think they rushed it. Actually, I think that they actually listened to the feedback. Everyone was complaining that it was too long, the previous one, so they just push it out. I felt like there was more content as well. I mean, we can argue about whether Emerald was a good one or not, and I think overall probably not. But at least it was something brand new, right? It was not in classic.
Right.
It was not in retail. So yeah.
Yeah, I agree with you, Glorious. Like, you're right when you say that it's something brand new, right? It wasn't something. I mean, obviously the systems or whatever, yes, they could be from other versions of the game, but it was definitely new to classic, right? Like a new way to level, a new way to farm reputation, a new reputation to farm, a new way to farm gold, especially for the people who did it that first day.
Yep.
Which is super sad for all of my group that didn't.
No,
man, that Nova run was tragic.
Oh god.
Oh god.
I'm so glad we at least saved Raid Group 2 from that.
When Emerald came out, I was online. Happened to be just after work. I farmed like 300 gold, so I ended up 0 at the end because everything else costed so much.
Yeah.
And then I got lucky. I got a recipe. It was like 170 gold, and now I have like 50. So I honestly, I was the phase 2 actually just comment on phase 2, but I hated really in phase 2. I really had to play a whole lot to get gold, and here it was like free gold. Take it. Yeah. I was like, that's for me. That's for me, baby.
I wish I did it, dude. I wish I did it in the beginning there. That would have been so much better.
Literally like 2,000 gold right now.
Yeah.
Just ask iBite if you can borrow some gold.
Oh, shots fired. Shots fired.
Oh man, dude. Poor iBite. Shout out to iBite.
Yeah. Wherever he is.
I don't feel like it was
right? He's on a business trip, yeah.
I'll be right back.
We lost Glorious.
Oh, we lost Glorious.
I need to grab a beer, guys.
He needs to grab a beer, bro.
All right, that's what I like to hear. So we got another chat from Ketogenic that I think is something that could lead to some pretty good discussion. He said the PvP has been a blast. The PvP is why I've always played WoW. It's still such a fun game. Now, I know this is a pretty controversial topic in Season of Discovery. I'm going to give my take on it, which has recently changed. And then I want to hear what you guys have to say about it. For me, playing Warrior for the first 3 phases for the last, how long has it been? 5 months since Season of Discovery came out. I've absolutely despised PvP. I've hated it more than anything else in the game. I could not solo any class. It was not fun. Getting Warbringer a couple of months ago cost me like 50 gold, and at the time it was a lot of gold for me. And that just made PvP bearable. It didn't even really make my class good at PvP. But recently I started playing Rogue, and I can completely understand why people have been saying that the PvP is fun, because I've been having an absolute blast. I spent 2 hours yesterday just sitting in Fellwood world PvPing. So that's my experience with the PvP. I hated it before, and I'm absolutely loving it now. How do you guys feel? I'm going to go make another drink real quick also, by the way, so keep going.
What?
Go ahead, bud.
Cheers.
I was going to say, as a paladin, loved phase 1 as, for PvP. Felt really good, really strong. Phase 2, I liked Shocking in PvP. I did not care for Ret. Shocking in PvP was fun. Phase 3, I haven't really had to PvP any, but every class, from what I've seen in videos and stuff, every class seems relatively balanced on a PvP standpoint.
Except Warriors. If they don't have a pocket healer, let me specify that.
Okay,
if they have a pocket priest, they're gonna mortal strike you to death, and you can't do anything about it.
Like PvP right now feels pretty well balanced. That I would like to see another duel tournament this phase if we're gonna do one. Otherwise,
Shippy is the PvP animal here, right? We can say that.
Yeah, I would assume Shippy PvPs more than anybody here, so
he has
the best experience on it.
In dual tournaments, he has 2-0'd my ass so far. So I'd like to get one up on him.
Yeah, I love the PvP, but they just dropped a post today saying they're gonna work on some of the damage mitigation. I forget exactly what they said, but I think there's a few too many holes with how much damage classes are doing or certain random things. Like twice last phase, running around in full abyss at level 40, I didn't have my PvP trinket equipped, and 2 separate occasions I had a level 39 rogue jump out and I just got stun locked to death. I mean, their damage was awful, so I sat there for like 14 seconds,
Mhm.
but I never got to have a single play, which is just yeah, like no, that's like dying to disconnect in hardcore.
Yeah.
I mean,
Sitting
you
there,
gotta you
there's
gotta
no play.
you gotta blame that one to the no PvP trinket though that you didn't have equipped.
Dude, like
I personally think
I get that, but still, I mean, come on, like that's just that was ridiculous.
I personally think PvP needs to go. It has to go one of two ways. Either every class should have a way to, maybe not necessarily say one shot you, but I think every class should have a way to fight another class in a way. Because it's like either every, like, let me go back to the one shot. Either every class should be able to one shot you, or no classes should be able to one shot. Because I don't think it's fair for, like, in phase 2 when shamans would run up to you and just, they couldn't do anything about it.
Yeah.
Like, you were just dead. Like,
I do think though, to me, that sounds very retail-y, simp.
Get a bubble.
For
I know it does sound
everyone to have
retail-y,
something the
but-
same.
if they are going to make it to where a couple classes or one class can absolutely destroy you in PvP, like let me take the one shot aspect of it away. If one make every class be able to defend themselves in a certain way, because it's like no matter what you do, no matter how good of a player you are, no matter what class you're playing, you can't help a shaman hitting you for 3,000 damage with a meatball from Lava Burst.
Right.
Like,
Yeah. No, shamans are a whole nother
but-
level of crazy shit.
But
Like that's
isn't it
But they
rock
buffed them,
paper
don't worry.
scissor? Isn't it rock paper scissor? It's like with a shadow priest, you can dot them and silence them, and then in silence you can kill them really. So enchantment's shaman is also like they're running at you, you dispel yourself with a frost shock, and then you run away. And that so say priest is I think better against shamans. I'm pretty sure some other classes suck
right.
more. So everyone is kind of strong, but depends on who you're against.
Right.
Like,
yeah, definitely don't take my opinion on PvP like too seriously. I've never been too much of a PvP guy. I'm more of a PvE Andy, but it's just my short experiences on.
Right. That is 100% true. But that was true of original Classic too, and people have been playing it for the past 20 years on private servers.
It's unbalanced. I feel like you can adjust in original Classic. Like
Yeah.
I remember playing Halo back in the day and making the jump to Call of Duty, and it just felt like whoever sees the other person first gets the kill. Whereas in Halo, you could actually adjust. That's kind of how this feels like. If there's a shaman that sees me that's casting a lava burst, I'm done. Like,
Yeah. Yeah, it's definitely a little more out of control than Classic.
And I also don't think the nerfs that they've done to certain classes are fair. How come shamans can still do that, but then they go and they nerf Starfire for druids? Like, I don't get it.
Like, going off of how runes have worked so far through the phases, I would like to see next phase some of these classes get some of their runes as their big defensive abilities. Like let me see rogues get Cloak of Shadows, some good PvP runes, like give warlocks Gateway. That'd be cool as shit.
Yeah,
I
like,
know people have
we-
been arguing about like you saying rogues getting Cloak of Shadows, but I honestly at this point I just kind of agree with you. Like I really do.
Like
It's like this game. It's really fundamentally, it's no longer classic. It's really not. So it's like, might as well.
like
give
if
Warriors Bladestorm, give Rogues Cloak of Shadows, give Warlocks Gateway. Like it's just I don't know.
Bladestorm would be cool for a warrior. I would honestly like to see Heroic Leap.
Yes, that's what I've been
I
saying
also
since
think
phase
Heroic Leap
1,
would
dude.
be-
Heroic Leap would be amazing.
Heroic Leap would make it would make Warriors so much better, bro.
Yeah, Heroic Leap would be fantastic.
I think they overdone it a bit. It is too many abilities. I thought that they're gonna give us like 3 or 4, but essentially it's gonna work the same way. But right now it's like you don't even use the original abilities. You just use the new ones because they're so much more powerful, and they're probably gonna add more in level 60.
Right.
I think they could have gone a bit less and focus on what's already there and make them usable or something. I mean, yes, everyone can get dual two-hander, whatever it was, Titan's grip and whatnot, but then it's gonna be like retail.
Yeah,
And I thought that this is classic.
I mean that is
Bladestorm would be a fine addition to classic, but I think Titan's grip would push the boundaries a little much.
As
Well,
a
I'll
priest,
say-
I don't like that idea.
Warriors, I will say, Warriors need an actual new attack ability. All they've gotten all this game is pretty much passive effects.
Yeah. Correct.
Like, I mean, it hasn't fixed their playstyle. They still feel just as clunky. They need a smooth playstyle.
You know what
well-
Warriors should get? They should make an adrenaline rush for Warriors.
Oh,
not,
hell no.
Oh
No.
my God.
And if
Yes.
we're talking
No.
about not giving, if we're talking about the problem of not giving more abilities, you could put some of these abilities into runes that work with pre-existing, like for instance, rogues with Cloak of Shadow. Instead of actually giving them Cloak of Shadow, have it to where when they hit Vanish, it acts like Cloak of Shadows for a second, stealths them, but also wipes away all their dots at the same time, so they don't get instantly brought back out.
I think that's a good
Like-
idea.
Yeah.
Like you could code it in to where it's just a passive effect added into another spell.
Yes,
Yeah,
I
that'd be
would
pretty
like warriors to destroy me in 2 seconds. I want all the classic back.
You
Give
see,
me
see, the thing is though, is if Warriors have a pocket priest, they can already do that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, if they have
No,
a
the only
whole
time a
other
warrior,
player.
The only time I'm scared of a warrior is if they have a priest with them,
Yeah.
or like,
I mean,
like
that's
thing is
always been warrior though. Warrior with
Yeah.
a pocket priest is an unstoppable wrecking ball.
Yeah.
That pocket priest doesn't need a warrior though. That's the issue.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's
They
that's
can
my
just go
point.
destroy anything ever they
Yeah.
want.
Right. That priest is like a fucking titan on their own, whereas the warrior is literally nothing without the priest. That has been my whole
warriors
problem.
need avatar.
That'd be pretty sick
That'd be
too.
cool.
Yeah.
Yes,
That'd be cool.
please.
I want to point out
please.
though
Give him
that
colossal smash.
I see a warrior, I just sit down and then I'll take it.
Cheese said in chat. Cheese is in our chat, and he said, "Do not give rogues Cloak of Shadows." And I want to know why,
Yes.
because literally, if I get 1 dot on myself as a rogue, and you trinket my blind or stun, there is absolutely zero counterplay I have to any spell damage, and I will just die. There is nothing I can do.
That's how it should be with rogues. I agree.
Yeah,
So no Cloak of Shadows.
yeah.
Y'all are
I agree.
monsters.
No-
Y'all are
no
monsters.
shadows.
That's
I mean,
dark, dude.
you are
That's
basically
dark.
Unlock
I don't
for
agree with
20
you guys. I think that's ridiculous, dude.
I got your back, Hammer.
That
I think
that
rogues need it.
makes it so that like casters just have an infinite advantage over rogue. Like, what's the point of playing rogue then?
Like,
you have no
example,
defensive
let's say Hammer
whatsoever.
Let's say Hammer were to fight me on my warlock, and I'm full affliction. If for some reason I trinket out of his stun, I death coil him and dot him, he's dead. Like,
Okay, so here's
Oh,
another
yeah.
example. Here's an
blinds,
example.
resets.
This happened to me last night. Right? Open up on a paladin. Already hard for me to fight as a rogue in Sod. They bubble and Hodge, right? Now, I'm dead before I get out of that Hodge. If my trinket's on cooldown, I'm completely screwed. You're dead before you get out of the Hodge. So if there was Cloak of Shadows, there's actual counterplay there. So I open on him. If I know he's going to bubble and Hodge me, I can pre-pop Cloak. Hodge is a magic spell, right? So it will resist that. And now I can actually fight this dude. Instead of him being immune for 10 seconds and then killing me inside of a 6-second stun.
I like the notion of a rogue complaining about somebody killing them inside of a stun lock.
Okay, dude. Like,
that is kind of funny.
Here- but
actually.
here's the
when
thing,
that
Shibby.
6 seconds goes to 20 seconds, then I'll.
So
Yes.
I do
Dude.
have
I
a
agree.
question to bring back on the Cloak of Shadow thing. I am not familiar with rogue gameplay. I've never really played rogues. Is Cloak of Shadows make you completely immune, or is it like a chance to resist?
No, it's it wipes away
Wipe.
anything you currently have and gives you, I think it's 6-second immunity to all CC and dots.
What if they made it to where like it, like let's say keeps the wipe thing, right? But what if they made it to where it's like orcs racial, to where it's like a chance to stun? I don't know. I mean, instead of just being like completely immune.
I'm fine with a modified version of it where it's just the cleanse wipe of whatever you have currently. It don't even have to give you immunity after that point. Just
I definitely think putting
But-
is the
but-
best iteration of it though, with like
Yeah.
the vanish thing.
yeah, just make it
But
to where
rogues are, but rogues are like basically the sneaky, people in the shadows. They're not offensive. They should wait for the warlock to somebody engage him, and then get him in a 10-second CC, and then they die while at it. So then they go away. That's basically, I mean, that's the role, right?
Right.
They're in PvE, they are really strong DPS always. So it's not like they're weak, but I think that they shouldn't be a warrior. I mean, if they get Cloak of Shadows, and I remember that those days, you cannot do anything with them because then it turns. Because they have like infinite stun basically if they are playing well. Like they can reset their cooldowns, blind, stun, blind, vanish, reset, vanish, all that. Then you can be immune from magic damage, and then it's end of story. I mean, that's always been well, if you can play really well with Rogue, right? And if they balance it for that you play average, then I guess it can be okay.
Yeah, I mean, Cheese is saying pick a lane. So you want rogues to have a defensive, but no one else to have defensives because it's too retail-y. First of all, that's bullshit because if we're talking about priest, dude, how much offense you have inside.
I was gonna say priest already got their defense.
Think about that. Yeah, like think about priest, dude. You have dispersion, you have heals, you have bubble, you have an instant cast AoE fear, you have stuns on your instant cast dots, you have AoE damage. You have literally everything.
I think overall the way they balance it is that whatever class you play, they're gonna suck. Okay, so just
that's true. Yes,
pretty please just play with Shaman next. Okay,
right?
Hammer, because that I'm sure they're gonna nerf it. But but I think Shadow is not. For instance, just take an example. You mentioned dispersion. It's only 90% damage reduction, not 100%.
Only 90%.
I got killed a few times in dispersion. If you use it,
it happens.
they're pretty strong.
I was about to say, if we're talking about pre-strength, I watched rogue videos. One devouring plague get put on a rogue, he's dead instantly.
But that's the story.
That's my point, dude.
It will tick him all the way to 0.
Did you see that PS Hero video where he ganked the Shadow Priest and the priest was only able to put up like 2 dots and he just sat there and let it kill him?
Yeah, that's my point, man. I don't know. I agree with you guys saying that. Go ahead,
The counterpoint though was that he 2-shot the priest. So...
Right.
Okay, I'll give you this.
But rogues always did that in Classic, dude. Think about it. Rogues, that was their one thing. Yes, but that was their whole thing. Is like they're an assassin, right? That's literally all they're good at.
I'll give you this. They can nerf the dots if they increase the damage for Mind Flay. Not whatever the cast spells, but Mind Flay. Then I think it would be fair. It's maybe too strong right now because we have really powerful gear. Like I have 300 shadow spell power. That obviously is not the same if you have 0, spell power. And I'm pretty sure that has something to do with it. But it's not like shamans are weak compared to priest, or I mean, pretty much all. Maybe paladin I would call weak. Like all the classes, they have really strong points. I think rogues, they could kill me as well if they play well. I mean, we
want to talk about paladins. I'm ready to go.
Yeah, let's talk about paladins, dude.
Oh god, where do you want me to begin?
One comment on the defensive thing before we go to paladins, real quick.
Yeah, go for it.
So, coming from a warlock main, right? I actually personally think if rogues hypothetically were to get Cloak of Shadows, I think give every class a defensive that doesn't have a defensive already. Like priests already have all that stuff, paladins already have bubble, etc. Right? Like druids have bark skin. I don't think warlocks need a defensive. I really don't think they do.
Well, their defensive is lifesteal, right?
Yeah, that's what I mean. Warlocks, like they're the only class that doesn't need a defensive because it's like you can have me to 20% health, but as soon as that haunt goes off with all my dots on you, I'm basically full health again.
Yeah, it's true. I mean,
that's all I wanted to say. I think if rogues get Cloak of Shadows, I think every other class that doesn't have a defensive should get.
What other classes don't have a defensive? Right, priests do, paladins do. Hunters don't have any.
Hunters, I don't think.
Maybe they don't.
Hunters?
Do they need one? Really?
Saying that.
If you're gonna give hunters don't give hunters a defensive. Make disengage, like retail disengage, to where it like shoots you backwards. Yeah.
I agree.
That would be a good one. Yeah.
I think balance druids need to also hit like arcane mages. That I would do it for Shibi. I would write a mail for Blizzard. In fact, I think I'm gonna get down in California in June. Shibi, I will go to the headquarters. I'm gonna give them a mail in the mailbox. Do something
I
with
don't
balance
even
rate.
think that balancers need to do that. I literally think they just need to unnerf Starfire. Or not Starfire, Star Surge. I think that's all they need to do. If all these other classes can do this to you,
we need more CC for our defensives. Our only CC is relying on us being outdoors and being able to route and travel for him. We have no Cyclone. I feel like that's something we should get.
Yeah.
We need something to escape.
I got something. Here, how about this idea? So all battlegrounds are outdoors, right? All right. What if, hear me out. What is it called? Fury of Storm Rage. What if it made it proc to where your next healing touch or entangling roots was instant? So you can instantly entangle root somebody.
I would take that, but they should make entangling roots then if they don't give us Cyclone indoors as well.
Yeah.
Yes,
Like
that's fine.
You know what?
Like flag room, we can't do anything.
When Chibi just said we need a way to escape, that put that whole thing in perspective for me, and it makes a lot of sense because if you go back and look, like watch like old classic like druid PvP videos, that's what it is. Yeah. It's them escaping and just beating the living shit out of whoever is chasing them down and like whittling them down, like, you know.
Well, I gotta, sorry, I'm chiming here really
Go
quick.
ahead, yeah.
Moonfire Beam, his stream in a dueling tournament about how to actually beat a shaman, and essentially it's kite him for about 40 seconds, and that's pretty much it. If you let them touch you, you're dead in half a second, but you can kite them for about 40 seconds, and you can pull them down. That's about the only.
That makes sense.
And that's true to Classic, though, right? But, I mean, think about Druids in Classic. That's literally how they PvP'd. If you watch any of like the top Druids, they would kite people for days and days, and it's actually really sick to watch. Like I used to love watching those videos.
I just feel like there's less room for air with us now. Like if we get touched by melee, it's very tough to do anything because bash is still useless.
Yeah,
I think we just need more CC.
Let me suggest something. How about we vote on a scale 1 to 10 how we like PvP? How balanced we feel like PvP is. Then we give a score for the same thing in Classic and see is it better or worse. Does it sound like a fair comparison?
You're saying vote for
1 to 10 in
it's
SOD
like
right
versus
now.
Classic.
Whatever.
I feel like the balance is probably similar, except for the fact in SOD for the last two phases, one faction is just broken, so that's really hurting, all sorts of battlegrounds.
I vote 8 out of 10, and I think Classic Original was more like 6 out of 10 in terms of class balance.
Honestly, dog, I think Classic it was like a 4 out of 10. Like literally.
Well, maybe.
I think Classic was very dependent on same thing with SOD, right? It's very dependent on the player, but like Classic WoW, because if you're just like you're like a new player to WoW hypothetically in 2019, right, when Classic got released, and you're playing like a druid and you try to PvP, odds are you're not doing anything.
No shot. No shot.
But I will say, okay, if they were to give, like we're talking, all these classes somewhat of defensive, PvP abilities or more CC, there has to be a reason for it, like 60 arenas, with the big hopes. Big hopes.
I don't remember what she said the other day about arenas, but he made a good point on why they shouldn't add arenas. He
just posted it, Semp, in the chat. He said it's classic PvP. I don't know what people want 20-minute arena fights like retail. Lol.
Yeah,
and like that's a good point. What happened, Chibi?
I said these won't be 20-minute fights.
It'll be who can stun and get the one shot off first.
Yep.
It's burst meta, right? And that's literally what Classic was to begin with. It was burst meta.
Honestly, I'm pretty sure that's what retail is anyway.
It's just faster. Meta. Yes, but in the same light, like retail PvP, which is all I did at the beginning of Dragonflight when I did play it, it's burst meta, but it's not burst meta at the same time. Like you need to literally do everything perfect and set up specific kill windows. And if you miss that kill window, the entire fight is reset for any class. It's not just like rogues and mages can reset.
Yeah,
like,
you do make a good point. Like, I was a marksmanship hunter at the beginning of Shadowlands, and I was PvPing with a Ret Paladin, and he would literally hodge somebody, and I would come out of camo and immediately hit him with 2 aim shots, and he would die.
Right, that's your kill window. And if you missed that, or like if it was a paladin and they bubbled or whatever, now that entire fight is reset in retail, right?
Yeah, 100%. I get what you mean.
So, but I mean,
still like it.
Go ahead, Glorious.
I still like it. I think overall,
I do too. I'm voting yes for SOD PvP. I think I'm in the minority here. I'm enjoying it on Rogue.
Yeah, I like SOD PvP. We're just talking about improvements that could be made.
Right. Yeah, most people don't. I mean, I make posts and stuff all the time, and the comments that I get are hilarious, and like people really feel strongly about how bad PvP is in SOD. And
because these people are probably what were the best classes in PvP? Probably a normal classic. Obviously, number one's probably
Rogue, Mage,
Warlock,
Hunter, Warlock.
Yeah, literally, those people are probably like Rogue and Warrior Andes that are mad that
other people are good now.
They can't steamroll everyone anymore.
Right. And to be honest, even playing the Rogue and steamrolling some people, I get my ass kicked a bunch of times too. So like it goes hand in hand, and I'm still having fun. I'm still really enjoying it.
Like it all depends. Like I said earlier, it all depends on the player. Like if somebody if I were to trinket your stun, immediately death coil you and put my dots on you and drain life, like you're damaging me, but I'm just healing through all of it. Like
right. Cheese said shadow. What do you mean by shadow, Cheese?
Shadow Priest were gods in classic PvP.
Oh yeah, inside they're just gods forever in PvP. It's
the first thing that I go to Battleground, everyone asks like, can you switch to disc? Just heal us, please, because Shadow is like. But anyway.
Yeah, I mean, I've been having actually a lot of trouble with Shadow Priest. Like we were talking about the dots before, dude. If I get a Void Plague on me and a Shadow Word Pain, and I manage to kill the priest, I actually can't even sit down and eat food faster than I die. It's hilarious. Like the dots kill me through eating food on the ground. It's a joke, dude.
What I find funny about that comment is because even Cheese mentioned it the other day when we were testing out Unstable Affliction on his Paladin. Shadow Priest dots do more damage than Affliction Warlock's dots, which the entire gameplay of an Affliction Warlock is dots. And now I'm not saying Shadow Priest dots need to be like nerfed or anything when I'm saying that. I'm just saying it's just funny how much damage Void Plague actually does.
Yeah. No, they 100% the dots do need to be nerfed. Like Glorious says, like they need to be nerfed and like maybe buff Mind Flay or something. Like there is no reason that you should be able to instant cast a spell with 30-yard range that does that much damage while you're still be able to use other globals and run away at the same time and fear me at the same time. Like it's broken. It's completely broken, and there's no counterplay to that at all. Without Cloak of Shadows.
Be a paladin.
Unless you're a paladin, right?
I was about to say Shadow Priests don't bother me this phase because I can literally cleanse their whole dot mechanics in one button. Just wipe it every time instantly. Yeah. It's all gone.
But again, like if you get rid of that, is it still like that classic vibe? Like it's probably not, right? That's what we're kind of talking about right now. Like the fact that Pudding as a paladin can cleanse that and have a good fight against a Shadow Priest, but a rogue can't. That's classic in my opinion, right? If we make it so that every class can, I guess we are moving into retail territory there. So I don't really know.
Legendary duel coming up. Cheese on his paladin versus Shadow Priest.
I would love to see that, dude. That would be great. Cheese, you gonna do that or what?
Cheese versus Glorious.
Cheese versus Glorious. Yeah, Pally versus Shadow Priest. Let's see it. You
don't want me to fight
or
Cheese?
Pudding. Yeah, Pudding's the one saying he loves doing it. We could have Pudding too. Pudding versus Glorious.
Here we go.
You're a prot. That's why you're getting Thunder Fury.
I'm I'm not prot. I am main tank. There's a difference. I'm still ret spec. Okay.
Well, if you're tank, then I get hand over axe since we don't have a true ret.
Go for it, baby. It's all. I want to see it on your druid back, running around as a boomkin.
Yep.
Yeah.
So I mean, we talked a bunch about PvP, and I'm sure we'll get back to PvP. But I think we should jump a little bit into PvE stuff, right? Like where every class is sitting, DPS wise, tanks, healers, all that good stuff. Shibby, How are you feeling about balanced druids, especially now with the changes? Where do you think you're going to be at?
Probably closer to mid.
Yeah.
Just based off the numbers, it's just gonna be a 10% damage buff, which
Yep.
I'm fine. I really don't care where I rank in PVE. I just want
So you're more into
like,
into PvP.
yeah. I mean, honestly, as long as I can bring something to the raid, like we really don't need to have. I really don't care where I'm sitting at on the damage meter, like whatever. I just want to be able to actually play PvP. So I I don't know. I'm fine with it. It's fun rotation. I feel like it's been like normally I play Resto, so I'm trying Boomy really for the first time. I feel
Yep.
like it's fun and
Yeah.
it's viable. Like the thing is like this content's all been so easy. It really doesn't matter where you're sitting at on the damage meters.
Yeah, it doesn't. I
Yeah,
mean, it's all
I
personal.
agree.
Like, if you enjoy it, you enjoy it. But like, when I saw those changes coming out for Shadow Priests and Balanced Druids in particular, 10% across the board for both, I went to our last logs, right? And I was looking at you, Shibby, and I was looking at you, Glorious. And adding 10%, we'll start with Shibby, right? You're doing, we'll pick the Aranicus fight just as a, you know,
Oh, that's my
ballpark.
worst fight, man.
Right. That's why I'm doing
Oh,
it.
my worst.
So you're doing 527 DPS, right? We add 10% to you there, and that puts you in the top 5 DPS. You know what I'm trying to say? Like that's a big buff, and that's going from 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. You were 9th DPS on our last Aranicus fight, so you'd be 4th or 5th. You'd be like right 4th. You'd be fighting for 4th and 5th place just with the buff, which is pretty sick in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, you're never gonna top the DPS meters as a druid.
Right,
They
right.
can't do it and still keep PvP balanced. So I'm fine with it.
Yeah. And then Glorious,
wish
it
you
was an
would've-
even bigger like upgrade because I was looking and doing 10% for him would put him at like 6th up from like 12th or 13th on that fight, which is that's a massive increase. So I'm assuming you guys are like excited to do this raid this week.
Tomorrow,
I
I'm
love
gonna actually run instead of Shadow Bolt Volley, I'm gonna actually run Incinerate and Chaos Bolt on Irenicus to see how much damage I can actually do because I've been more focused on like ad clearing
Yep.
on that fight. But the problem is when I Shadow Bolt Volley on that fight, it just pulls all the ads to me, and then I just have to run into melee anyway. So it's
Yeah.
like I don't see the point.
No, there's
So
absolutely no point.
question for Glorious. Do you wish, like me, that they had given us our damage buffs from like adding stuff to our skills or our rotation rather than just a flat damage increase?
Yeah, I think so. Yes, I think again, like going back to PvP, PvE, I think they should nerf dots and give it to something else that you have to cost, and maybe you can screw up because the dots there is not much to screw up, right? That's kind of the point. You just put them on, and yeah, I wish they would have done it differently. But we discussed this with Cheese that I honestly would have liked better if they don't have um if they make a mind what is it called mind flay part of the PvE rotation, and maybe they can balance that one because in PvE that's not super strong. In PvP, again, it's not super strong. So I think it would be better. But I mean they just look at the forum, how many people crying about priests. Okay,
Yep.
well give them a bone or something. That's probably what happened. But I think whoever is thinking about being top damage in priest is like, you shouldn't have big priest. Honestly, it's like it's not the point. It's
Right.
my take.
Like mid pack is good and like fluctuating mid pack.
Yeah,
You know,
I mean,
just like Balanced Druid, all that. Like mid pack and being able to fluctuate from high to low mid pack, maybe even kind of coming out of it a little bit if you're like a really good player is like I think that's rewarding, and I think that's where like those classes should sit.
Yeah, I mean, you go ahead.
We should be above the tanks. I feel like.
Yes,
Yes,
definitely,
yes.
definitely should be above
Whoa
the
now.
tanks.
Whoa now. Hey, let's calm down. Okay.
Overall,
Definitely should be above the
Overall, I
tanks,
think-
dude.
Let's calm down here. Okay.
I think overall in the middle of the pack is fine. I think priest is giving utility. Like it has a pretty strong buff. It has a lot of debuffs. It can heal itself. There's a lot of things it can do, and I think it would not be fair if the DPS was also super strong. But again, I agree that I think I don't want to be in the below tanks. That's if you want the DPS, that's another story, right? So
I agree.
I'll make a
Fun
comment real
stuff.
quick about warlocks in this conversation. I personally think the Lake of Fire nerf, now that we're actually in phase 3 and we're seeing warlock damage, I don't think they I think they could have just nerfed the damage bonus that Lake of Fire gives. I don't think they should have nerfed it to where you have to put an entire, like, you have to do an entire rain of fire just to get the, like, buff, right?
Right.
Because I think they were, personally, I think they jumped the gun because I don't think they were taking into consideration that the melee were hitting mechanicals in Nomergon. Of course, they weren't going to do as much damage, right? They're hitting mechanicals. The armor was insane. Now that we're fighting like humanoids, the damage is insane on melee, and now warlocks are almost like D tier when it comes to damage, and it's like it's not like what was that, bro? Like, of course, warlocks and casters in general are going to do better in Nomergon. They're hitting mechanicals. They're not hitting with physical damage.
Right.
I think they should have waited on the nerf. Personally, like if warlocks were doing an insane amount of damage compared to everyone else still in this phase, then maybe nerf it a little bit. But I don't agree with it personally.
Yeah, no, I agree with you, Simp. I definitely do.
And definitely something that you mentioned in your video with the blue post about now druids can, like, if you're not gonna give warlocks their damage back, at least make the conflag gameplay a little bit better. If warlocks, or I mean, if druid's swift mend is not gonna consume the rejuvenation or regrowth anymore, make it to where my conflict rate doesn't consume my immolate. I think that's fair,
Yeah.
personally.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
I agree. I don't have any.
And somebody said on the chat that, if you put together the damage and healing of priests together, how much is that? And yeah, especially phase 2, I remember the first fights, it was really important to have Shadow Priest for the off heal. But I think overall the balance is not too bad. I mean, do you guys know of any class that's that's like underwhelming compared to what you would expect?
No.
No. And like Cheese said, he said Glorious was 3rd on healing last week as Shadow. Like, that's a huge thing. Like, okay, so maybe in raid you're 11th on DPS, right? But then you look at the healing meter. It's like, yeah, if you combine those two, you're doing a lot for that raid as a Shadow Priest.
The way I see it, if you're a true Sweat Lord, Parse Lord, like Neckbeard and Classic, just play a Rogue or Warrior.
Yeah.
Like, don't play anything else.
You can parse on any class.
Not true though. Not true though, dude. I like to play pretty sweaty. And for all of like Wrath of the Lich King, I played Affliction Warlock, and that was like super
that's one
fucking
of the
sweaty.
best classes in that
Oh
game.
my
I'm talking about
god,
classic.
it was fun.
I'm talking about classic.
Yeah,
if
in
you are
classic,
a classic Andy, Sweat Lord Neckbeard, and you don't care about anything other than parsing, you play a warrior. You don't play anything else.
Right. That is true. I agree with you.
I'm gonna say paladins don't suck, but their playstyles are garbage. Okay, the whole Art of War exo spam needs to go. Seal twisting is not the answer. It needs to go. I've got a simple fix for it, but they'll never do it.
Well, the fix for it literally comes in Kata, right? When they switch to holy power, like building and spending points. Right? Am I wrong? Like, I think that's literally like what you have as Paladin right now in Sod. Isn't that exactly what they have in like Wrath? It's like very similar. It's the same play style for Ret. I'm not 100% sure, but
basically.
Right.
Art of War acts completely different than it does in Wrath. So the problem right now is there is no internal cooldown for Art of War. Like the fastest you can get crits, the faster you can spam it. So of course you want to go with the quickest weapon you can get and just go for exo crits. They hit hard because of the way Sheath of Light and the Wrath Rune work together. Easy fix for it: put Art of War on one. Make it exactly like the Wrath version, where it can also proc instant flash of lights.
Right.
That'd be a good one. 2, put an internal cooldown on it. But when you get an Art of War proc and you hit Exorcism, have it to where it resets the 6-second cooldown on Divine Storm That way we could go back to using slow two-handers. Now, on a double-sided note, I hate the way Ret two-hander feels. As a main tank, I love Exo Spam. I'm torn on it because Exo Spam as a tank allows me to hold threat like no one's business.
Right.
Because I mean, and with the Seal of Martyrdom buff for me, I like it in a tank perspective. I don't like it as a two-handed perspective.
So would you like it more if they went to the Kata style of like Retribution Paladin playstyle?
I do like I like Holy Power and Templar's Verdict and saving up your Holy Power. I mean, I like without changing Art of War though. I still don't know if that would be enough to get away from. Like it to me, it's just the way Art of War operates. Without a cooldown, I don't see anything changing.
Right.
It's got to.
No, it won't. Yeah, you're 100% right on that. It definitely will not. It will not change.
Like even right now with the seal twisting they put in, they got the seal twisting wrong. It does not work like it did in TBC. But even then, even if it did, I'm still pretty sure.
So you've tested it out?
Yes, I tested it this morning. It doesn't operate.
So how does it not operate the same as TBC?
All right. So in TBC, you would auto attack, or you would have your seal of command on, okay, and you would be only auto attacking. Right before the auto attack, you would switch to put martyrdom on, and it would you'd get both procs if they went off. Right now, and the way it worked in TBC is your white hit, you would get a seal of command proc and a seal of martyrdom proc off your white hit, and then your seal of command would also proc another seal of martyrdom tick. So you would see 3 yellow numbers and a white number. Currently, right now, it's just a white number and 2 yellows if it goes off correctly. You're getting 1 seal of martyrdom and 1 seal of command. You're not getting the second seal of command to make it worth it. Or you're not getting the second seal of martyrdom to make it worth it. Like it's a big DPS loss right now, and it actually is taking way too much time to focus on that I wasn't even able to get any exorcisms or crusader strikes really rotated into it.
So is that buggy?
I don't know if it's
a bug.
The way I think it's just not so far with them putting this version of Seal of Martyrdom in the game. Nothing has ever worked correctly with it. They constantly have to go back and fix stuff with it.
So as of right now, like twisting is not it. Like that's just not going to be a thing.
Twisting
not in
is
PvP, not in PvE, in no aspect of the game.
No aspect. It's a huge DPS loss. And Seal of Righteousness can crit now, but it still hits way less than Seal of Command would proc for. So you wouldn't even want to use Seal of Righteousness.
Okay. I guess do you think that's intended, or you think like Gloria said, is it buggy, or is it just? Like
I think it's buggy. Like I said, I'm not going to blame them too much on it because I think it's just the Seal of Martyrdom they put in the game. It's never operated like the other version of Seal of Martyrdom we got in Burning Crusade. It's a wonky spell the way it works.
Okay, that's good to know.
Like,
I mean, we can. I have another thing that I want to bring up here that I know is pretty. I mean, from what I gather, most people feel the same way about this, and I want to know what you guys think should be done, or like how you feel about earlier phase rune acquisition, right? Like starting a character tonight, like when the show ends, right? You start a character and you're leveling. And you're pretty much by yourself, right? There's not many people in the starting zones anymore. There still are some people. But like, what do you think should be done about earlier phase rune acquisition? In my opinion, it's definitely something that needs to be changed. It actually hinders me from wanting to level new characters because I'm looking at the runes and I'm like, this sucks. Like, I don't want to go do any of this. And I know it's going to be impossible to find people to do this. I'm going to have to level without runes. Like, what do you guys think would be the best way for them to fix this issue?
I mean, the best way would honestly just be like Cheese said, the box of runes. Like, yeah. I don't know where they would put it. I don't know how they would implement it. Maybe they make it
behind a requirement, or just like you just go when you have the gold, you buy this box of runes.
I don't know if they would put it behind a gold requirement, or maybe just like what if it's just like friendly with the Azeroth Commerce Society or vice versa with the Horde set, whatever it's called? Like, because getting friendly is really not that hard.
Right.
It's really not. So like maybe they just make it to where it's like friendly and you get them. Because I personally don't think that's that hard.
Yeah. I agree, but then if you think about it like that, where it's like a box of all of your phase 1 runes, right, or all of your phase 2 runes, and it's only gated by friendly reputation and gold. Everyone has gold, right? Most people have the gold, so you're just getting all these runes right off the bat, which really, I guess it's not a bad thing. But one thing that I think could be a little bit different about it is what if like certain runes were locked behind levels. Someone said this that I don't remember who it was, but they said like lock the runes behind certain levels, right? And so let's say Divine Storm for Paladins. You could still get it whenever the minimum was before, whether you can get it at 1 or 2 or whatever it is out in the world. But if you wanted to purchase it with gold from the from the vendor, it was level locked to like, let's say level 25 and have 2 ways to obtain them. So if you want to make a druid and go get Star Surge at level 1 and you want to take that journey, you can. Or you could level to like 15 or 18 or whatever it is and go spend 3 gold and just buy the rune from the vendor. Like, I think that's pretty good because it allows you to either A, still do the exploration part, go on some kind of like fun adventure, or B, if you're someone who literally is just making this alt to like be part of another raid group, or like you just want to hit cap as fast, but you don't care about any discovery or any of that, you could still do that as well. You know what I mean? Like, what do you think about that?
I think that it could be a good idea. Something that I was actually thinking
Yeah, it was Scotty J who said it. And I knew someone said it. I couldn't remember who it was, but like when that was said, I was like, holy shit, that's a really good idea. Thank you, Tedder.
They could do that, or if they want to keep it to where it's like, I don't think they would do this just because this would require them to make a whole new quest line. But I was like, maybe I think it would be cool to kind of like make another quest line to where, I don't know, make it to like soloable, right? Because like Meta and Divine Storm, they were quite literally almost the same exact quest in a way to you had to go to the same place.
Right.
It's not soloable at 25, not at all. You're not soloing
not by no means at all.
So that's why it's like it sucks. Like if you were, I would never make a Warlock or a Paladin, especially maybe not a Paladin because Divine Storm isn't really like meta right now, right? But a Warlock Metamorphosis is always good.
Right.
You always want meta. So it's like it's almost like you said, it's almost discouraging to play a Warlock now that you haven't made because you don't have meta, and meta is such a good rune to have. What's the point in making a Warlock if you're never finding a group? And let's say you're not in a guild, you're not gonna get meta.
Right.
It's just not gonna happen.
Yeah.
Unless you like pay somebody to help you.
Yep. KA said they need to take a page from retail and have an Exile's Reach option for new tunes. Basically accelerated leveling in a fixed zone that provides you all your P1 and P2 runes if your main has acquired them. I think that's a good idea too, to be honest. I think that's like
a pretty good
idea.
idea.
That's a really good idea.
Yeah.
Shibi's shaking his hand furiously.
What happened, Shibi?
It's just I think some of the ones like Metamorphosis, you should have a way to be able to realistically obtain it, but I feel like you should still have to go out and earn them for the most part. This is classic. I don't want crap handed.
No, I agree with that, but think about other runes, right? Like mages with Burnout, warlocks with Chaos Bolt. I've started numerous warlocks since the beginning of
I don't know
Sod.
how you get those, to be honest. So
yeah,
It's the Frozen Murloc that requires you with literally at least 3 people to do
right. And there's other runes too, with like the ritual, like summoning portals. Like I started a priest the other night on Horde.
The healers.
Yeah, you literally can't do it. It's.
I think, again,
that's
part of classic finding people. Like there's somebody in the same situation. Like this is a popular thing.
Next phase it's gonna suck for priests and paladins trying to get the one that relies on mages and warlocks.
No, that's kind of the fix for priests, though. I think instead of just nerfing them, just make their runes way harder to get.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah,
they can't play to their full potential.
I think it's definitely
you don't need enemies when you have friends like sheep.
I definitely think it's just it's a shitty situation to begin with because I do agree with Shibby where it's like, oh, it's the whole classic feel, right? You want to go out and you want to get it in the world. That's why I said like I don't think they would make a whole nother quest line just to get it that's soloable. But it's such a shitty perspective that yes, you want the classic feel of going out and getting it, but I always take it from like a new player's perspective. It's gonna discourage them from playing the game if they can't get what they want. Like,
I mean,
so it's not solo. You can't do it solo. So it's like,
it's classic WoW. There's no new people.
I was doing
that's a good point, actually.
I mean, that's where we're getting close to like, why don't they just give us like auto leveling? Like I can buy a boost and I can get all my runes, and it's kind of getting close to danger finder, raid finder. Like, why do we even call it classic? So on one hand, I'm pretty sure it sucks if you don't have it, right? And you try to find a group, you cannot find a group, you cannot find the people. But at the same time, I think they should make a way to make them acquirable by playing the game in some way. I mean, not necessarily the same way as you originally got them. So let's say the harder ones, you let them get it, right? Like the metamorphosis, you made an example. For the rest, that they're like not, must have or whatever, find a way that you have to still play the game like again. They can let me give you one take for Semp, because I think he said that he's playing Destiny quite a bit, and in Destiny, you have the system that an exotic can drop at the end of the danger or somewhere, anywhere in the world. Any activity it can drop, and you can exchange that for an item. Like, so imagine that you play whatever you want, and you can get a token or whatever, and you can exchange it to the rune that you want. So it's like, and you don't do it in a way that you complete the danger and you get fixed one, but it's like you make some silent or internal timer, so you don't have to play 25 hours to get one, but you don't have to, it's not like 5 minutes and you get 5. So that could be better.
I will say they're still all soloable to get. Okay, the key to it is I had a paladin the other day when I was doing incursions for rep, a level 49 paladin. Okay, only runes this dude had was Crusader Strike and Seal of Martyrdom. He said he was waiting until 50 to go back and get all the previous ones. He's been spamming incursions to level. So it's still soloable. You just gotta wait until you want to go out.
That is a true point. You can do it past like level 25, right? But I don't know. I guess it comes from the perspective of somebody else where it's like, oh man, I want this rune now, but I can't get it because like I got a level. I don't know. I mean, you make a good point about that.
You get 1 to 50 in a handful of hours now. So why not?
Yeah, I mean, that's also a really good point.
Like you don't have to go do it right at level 25.
Now, Shibby, do you agree with maybe if you have previously? I don't know why I'm bringing this up because I think it's like kind of a stupid thing to bring up anyway. But like, let's say for some reason like I really like Warlock and I want to play a Warlock, but I want to make another one. Like, do you think you should be able to just buy the rune if you've already acquired it?
No.
Nah, and I've done the same thing. Like I just leveled same like druid after druid after druid.
Yeah.
Like it's classic. You should sweat and bleed, and
I'm gonna say
get very little out of it.
I'm gonna say you should get with that, which they already fixed one. Okay, they fixed one where you don't have to do the quest line in Ratchet anymore with all the turbochargers, whatever. They fixed that one already, where you can just go buy it. But I will say, the one from if I've already grinded to, I'm exalted with the Azeroth Commerce Authority. They put in, the versions of, the bind on account heirloom items you can send over. I should be able to, now having gone all the way to Exalted, I should be able to go ahead and send the rune that comes from the rep straight to whatever. Oh, I'm gonna say that, so I ain't got to do.
There's going to be always two packs. One who want to make the game as like it was before at the beginning, which required group and then required communities, not Discord, okay, TeamSpeak or whatever. Just the point is to have some kind of a community feeling to acquire runes. And then the modern WoW player who plays some other games maybe, who knows that, maybe I don't have to, sit here for 25 hours to get an item that otherwise in other games I can get in like 2 hours or whatever. And that's where you have to find a good balance. I think it's the best way to do it is, find a way to make it fun. So it's not necessarily a group requirement, but like you have to play something that you like. And again, going back to Destiny, I think you can technically do whatever you want to get them, and then be able to acquire them during that kind of fun activity. And I think buying them from vendors, sending them to a mailbox, and those are not really fun. They are just allowing you to play less or allowing you to kind of bypass some requirement. I don't like that much.
I mean,
I
it's
definitely-
just that one room though, so you don't have to do the rep farm again.
No, you have to farm again. We'll help
Yeah.
you, okay?
I
Okay, no, we're not
definitely
gonna
think-
help you.
I don't play alts other than my warrior to make Arcanite bars. That's
I
all
definitely think Pudding made a good point though with like the whole 49 warrior, looking for a group, right? Because I kind of forgot about the fact that obviously, yeah, like, and Shibby also made a good point. I mean, leveling is so fast now, especially with incursions. Like, I guess it's true, like, because it's not like you have to be level 25 to get the rune. Like, you
No.
can be a higher level.
Yeah.
Because
You
it
could
goes
hit 50 and then go
I
back
guess
and get
that's
all
just
your
my
runes.
Destiny mind. I guess that's just my Destiny brain going on. I have 5,000 hours on Destiny 1 and 2,000
Jesus.
hours on Destiny 2. Everything in that game besides raid exotics are solo. You can solo everything if you're good at it. So that's why I guess that was my Destiny brain speaking.
like I said, the only one I truly don't like is, and I think it's the only one like it, is the new Warlock, Mage, Priest, Paladin one.
That one is the worst rune they've ever added
like,
in the game.
You have to
It's terrible.
like as a Paladin or Priest, you have to completely. You're at the mercy of whatever Warlock or Mage you have that has these items.
That was not like community feeling. It was like, who have enough gold to buy the boost that somebody already have the items because they have Warlock or whatever. That sucked. I mean, the idea was maybe good originally, but then it turned out to be bad.
That's really the only rune. The other open world ones, no problem. Go to a quest, you get your rune. That one, a Paladin and Priest is at the mercy of somebody else.
I mean, that's the problem with Priest. Didn't Priest also have a rune last phase that they were at the mercy of like rogues or something? Or Dispersion, wasn't it Dispersion, where they literally had to have like a rogue like do something for them or something?
I bought it too. Somebody was selling it on Stormwind. So, well, I mean, better than buying from a vendor. I still had to find somebody who is having the quest and willing to share it with a few.
I guess that is true. It is still just like classic. You gotta find somebody.
Yeah, Shibby brings up a good point there.
Speaking of the Warlock, have you found anything cool, Simp, with your imp lately?
Besides World Core fragments that are literally like pretty sure less than a gold now to sell in the auction house. I was trying to get that sword, the like fire sword that makes you do like 23% increased fire damage. No, I haven't gotten anything cool out of them.
Oh,
you know where I had to go for 2 of my portals? Into the Tainted Scar, the level 60 area to get my portals. And you know what they gave me? Like some bear meat and some like cloth.
Like, did they nerf it, or you got bad luck?
I'm bad luck, I guess.
I mean, you have a new ability that can yield you something. I mean, it's great. You should be happy.
Because
you should be happy. Shut up.
Warlocks needed more gold making opportunities in this game.
Yes, I want more loot.
With all the summon bots they can be.
Well, guess what? I don't have 2 accounts. I can't summon bot. I'm sorry, I have 5,000 Venezuelan accounts.
Listen,
my bad.
I've offered to be a clicker for you. I could give you one of the accounts.
There's only one clicker though. I need another one.
I got multiple. I could be your clicker completely if you just cut me into the profits.
Talk to iBite. I hear that he has a solution. He has some friends.
He's not a clicker. He's no. I'm just.
We need to address this.
He's on a business tree.
We need to address this comment in chat from Drudone or Druidone. I think it's Drudone. He said, Shibby is such a Chad. He drinks BCAAs from a wine glass. And you know why I want to address that? Because I've been wondering this whole time what the hell you are drinking, Shibby. I was like, what are you drinking?
Bro was drinking a slurp juice from Fortnite.
It's Baja Blast Sugar.
I knew it, dude. I knew it was Mountain Dew. I had a feeling it was Mountain Dew.
Baja
Blast?
It is Baja Blast.
Oh, I hate Baja Blast so much.
I love it, man.
You're un-American.
When I
No,
read the
no,
BCAA thing, I was
un-American.
dying. I was like, I gotta bring this up.
That
This
is
is amazing.
that is Taco Bell. That's as American as you can get.
Yes.
No,
Oh,
I love Taco Bell.
Taco
This is
Bell.
American.
Jesus
Gross.
Christ.
Fake Mexican food is as American as you can get.
Yes.
Taco Bell is actually my favorite
good.
fast food restaurant. I'm not gonna lie.
Oh, it's
Taco
Oh
Bell
my
is
god,
great.
2
Baja
cheesy
Blast is
gordita
not.
crunches, a crunch
I
wrap
want-
supreme,
I want
cheesy
some
fiesta
Firehouse
potatoes,
Subs.
and a Baja Blast. That's the order right there.
No,
Firehouse.
the best thing Taco Bell has ever added on this menu. God damn, this podcast is about to go off the
Oh
rails.
yeah.
The best thing Taco Bell
Yeah.
has ever added on their menu, and I don't care what anybody says, is the volcano burrito.
I never
No.
tried it.
Best
I've
thing
never tried
It's
it,
ever
dude.
been on the
I've
menu.
never
I
tried it.
like Taco Bell's new grilled cheese burrito.
Well, that sounds good, dude.
Can we go around the table? Who's having what drink?
The
Sorry.
Yeah, let's do
classic the classic quesadilla I feel is better than the retail quesadilla though.
I've drank all the lemonade already. In vodka.
Lemonade. Oh, you're doing. Oh,
Vodka
okay.
and
I've
Oh,
got a
nasty.
gin and
You
tonic.
Makes more
drank,
sense.
you drank a lot of lemonade compared to the amount of vodka you drank.
It is tavern talk, right? We
That's
should
like
focus on our
halfway empty,
drinks.
dog.
That's nasty.
This is two drinks.
Those are 2 big drinks.
Yeah, I
So
know.
in the other, just to clarify, in the other bottle, you also had vodka. It was just not the original packaging.
Yeah, this wasn't actually lemonade. This was also vodka.
Okay, good, very good.
I also
get
have
it.
Sprite for now that I'm
Pudding is drinking absinthe.
Oh wow.
Y'all ever seen Euro Trip?
That
On a
explains.
fucking
That
Tuesday.
explains the red face, dude. You're all
On a
red face
Tuesday.
right now.
Jesus, I am.
Bro has
Yeah.
alcohol flush.
What about you,
syndrome.
Glorious?
This is the time of advertisement, Colorado. Okay, actually, it's not gonna show it. It's called Juicy Bits. It's an Indian Pale Ale made in Colorado. I think the best. Okay, actually, if I put close to my face,
There we go. Yeah, I can see. We can see it
can
now.
show
Yep.
the bottle. So yeah, really good stuff, and Colorado for the win. What are you having, Hammer?
I'm drinking gin and tonic, Bombay Sapphire.
Okay,
Dude, bro,
same
is
stuff.
drinking gin and tonic.
That dude,
gross.
this is my drink that I drink when I want to be able to like stay awake for a while and keep drinking. My favorite drink is like old fashions. I could drink like bourbon all day long, but gin and tonic, dude, I could drink it. I don't get hungover. I could like drink 10 of them and just keep talking.
My favorite drink is actually pina coladas, but I don't want to like actually sit there and make a pina colada.
Dude, I love pina coladas. I'm not gonna lie. I fucking love pina coladas.
When I was I was in Mexico in 2019. I went on a cruise. I was only 19 at the time, but obviously like it's legal in Mexico when you're 19, right, to drink. Dude, I drank like 15 pina coladas. Like they were small, granted, they weren't like huge. I was sitting down the entire time, bro. I stood up and I went on like a different planet for a couple minutes. I wasn't there.
No, here's the drinking requirement in Mexico from my experience. I went with my friend.
Are you higher than the bar counter? Then you can drink.
No. It was, I think we were both like 15, and the guy's like, if you sit on the stool and your feet touch the ground, you're old enough to drink.
That makes sense. Yep.
Makes sense.
I'm not gonna lie. I came back when Hammer from Turning the Lights Up. When Hammer said, "This is my drink to stay awake," and I could have sworn he was about to say Jaeger bombs. Like he's just Tuesday night.
Dude,
pounding that
I
Jaeger.
have not had a Jaeger bomb in like over 10 years. And I think if I did have them, the same thing that you said would happen to you would happen to me immediately.
Dude, it's been about a month since I've had a Jaeger bomb night, and I swear, okay, it's undefeated. Every time I have a Jaeger bomb night, I'm gonna wake up the next morning and shit myself on accident. It's gonna happen.
I mean, just to clarify, on
Cruise
the
pina
Mexico
coladas.
one,
Oh yeah.
You guys know that I'm originally from Hungary, so it's also, let's say that the drinking requirements are relatively open. Okay, so it's like, give you an example. I've called my friend, like he was, I think, in Germany or whatever, and I was like, he was visiting some friend. It's like, were you drinking? No, I didn't drink, only beer. So that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. And yeah, that's like 3 or 4 beers. That's fine. I mean, that's
I'm not gonna lie.
okay-ish.
Y'all got me
Hungary.
fucked. Y'all got me,
I was wondering what part of America that accent's from.
y'all got me
Yeah,
fucked
yeah,
up right now with my complexion. Shit.
Little Hungary in Colorado.
I've always wanted to go to Germany during Oktoberfest.
Oh man, dude.
Germany was
That's
fucking
fun.
sweet.
That's
Germany
fun.
is sweet, and they had the real absinthe, not this U.S. shit.
That's why I said earlier, bro. I don't think anybody heard. I don't know if anybody commented on it.
Eurotrip.
The movie Euro Trip, bro. If anybody's ever seen that movie, when
Oh,
they
yeah.
take
Yes.
absinthe in
Dude,
Yes.
the
the
great,
club.
the real shit, you'll be fucked up. Like Cheese said, he threw up on his face when he drank. Yes, the real
Honestly,
absinthe will fuck you up. It's no joke.
The one that I remember really well, because again it is the Oreo in Eurotrip, when they are in Bratislava, and then the map is just it's just
Oh yeah,
it's like
Jesus
yeah,
Christ.
that's
Or
not too
Eastern
far, and
Europe.
I
think I'm
concur.
gonna-
That's the same. That's accurate representation. Okay,
I'm gonna watch Eurotrip tonight just for Scotty doesn't know.
Wait.
That's one of my
Oh
favorite things.
yeah, dude. Euro Trip might be my favorite comedy of all time. Like honestly, shit's insane.
Dude,
That
Pudding
movie's so
was
funny.
playing Scotty Doesn't Know for us on guitar the other night in Discord.
That's funny.
oh yeah.
We kind of derailed from WoW here a little bit, huh?
Yeah, we did. We got way off.
Which-
We'll get
which
back.
game
We'll
we
get
were
back.
talking
I tell you,
We'll
man,
get back.
as
All
soon as the
right,
Taco Bell
let's
comment
throw
happened.
out Tauren
the Tavern talk.
Paladins, Dwarf Shamans. Go. What do we
Yes,
think?
I don't
What
care
do
what
we think
anybody
about
says. That's
that?
a yes. If they're not gonna nerf shamans, I don't care about class fantasy anymore.
Here's the thing, dude. I have been loving playing on Horde, and I am an Alliance fanboy through and through. I will admit it to everybody. I will always love Alliance, and my main will always be Alliance. I've been loving playing Horde. For some reason, Pudding refuses to play Horde, and the reason is actually that there are no Paladins. If there were Tauren Paladins, would you play Horde?
Can you make it a blood elf?
No.
No, there's no Blood Elves, dude. It would have to be a Tauren.
All right, I'll be a Thorn.
You know what it is? I don't even think I'm enjoying playing Horde. I think I'm just enjoying not playing Warrior. Like, if my Rogue was Alliance, I'd probably like it the same. Even though Undead Rogue is really just peak. You just feel like peak Rogue in Classic. I'd probably still enjoy it even if it was Alliance. The things I do for Night Elf Shaman. That'd be interesting.
Honestly, do you guys want shamans in Alliance and then Cheese again reroll from priest to paladin to shaman again? Because that's gonna
Yeah,
be
but
No,
if you were to roll shaman, at least he wouldn't get like absolutely cucked over every patch.
We're gonna get Cheese on this call, dude.
I will say this.
I think
'Cause
next week he's gonna be up.
Because it doesn't happen with paladins. Okay, paladins still are useful. If we got dwarf shamans, feral druids alliance side wiped out. No need for them again.
How do you figure?
Because Wild Strikes and Wind Fury.
Because
Well, tank druids.
Well, tank druids.
Yeah,
would
feral
exist,
DPS
but-
is just
yeah,
no.
feral DPS would be gone. If you like playing cat, you're gone.
Feral.
Well, Shibby, coming from a druid perspective, what are the runes in place of Wild Strikes?
A good
Like, is
tank
there
druid
anything that
on
would like a feral DPS worth like actually
What
running?
the hell is Wild Strikes even on? Like, this is
Chest?
how
It's chest. It's chest.
It's chest, so it's Fury. It's our tank rune. Yeah,
Couldn't you just run a Loon's Fury? Doesn't that also mesh with?
You should play druid more.
dude, I just don't touch the freaking melee stuff. I know it's the Fury, Storm Rage, and then our tank rune. Can't remember what it's called.
Hybrid class.
Hey, I
You just play
hybrid
one spec.
between
two
Yeah,
of
he
it.
hybrids DPS and healing.
chicken and then night elf form.
Chicken.
Chicken and Night Elf form. That's funny.
I mean, I think I was clear, but I think it would not be a good idea to bring shamans to Alliance. I mean,
Yeah.
it's fine.
Really?
Whoever is wanting to play shamans should just play Horde. I mean,
guess so, yeah.
okay, Hammer, you played Warrior, which again they're gonna never buff, and then Rogue, which you didn't like.
Right.
Imagine that you start a shaman in Alliance. What's gonna be the end? I mean, don't you feel like you're responsible for the rest of the community that you don't play shaman in Alliance?
Yeah, but so if you're saying that, Glorious, so are you saying that they are Horde bias? That Blizzard is Horde bias, and they're gonna nerf it if it comes to Alliance?
There is horde bias probably. I mean, look at shamans, and they're just arguably better than paladins, and whatever
Yes.
they do with paladins, they're just not as good. And they can fix it if they want it. I mean, I think the community have some idea of how to resolve it, but I think that they shouldn't bring it over. I mean, I think
No,
I'm
I'm
not
even okay with their being strong.
as a paladin, I don't want to see shamans get nerfed. Okay, I don't want shamans to get brought down to my level. I
I
want to
want
get
paladins to get buffed.
yeah, as a paladin, I want to get buffed to be on a shaman's level. So then they're respected. We have paladins alliance. They have shamans. We are equal.
yeah.
The only reason I don't like that is because like so many people play one faction just for that class, so you're just gonna get so many paladins and so many shamans when you already have that on each side.
Yeah, that's true.
And Cheese is saying that I have a shaman glorious. So thank you. Okay, I get it. I get it now. I understand everything.
Cheese, dude, every phase Cheese rerolls.
I think you should ban on melee hunters. Oh wait,
You see that range buff? Like
that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
That's,
Oh yeah. Let's
that's
talk about that, dude. Cheese
big.
sent me a video earlier. That
Nerf
was
hunters.
disgusting. I don't know if everyone saw that.
I did
I did
not.
not.
No.
But
I
yeah,
can
range
imagine.
hunter it was just chilling, and just people were running at the hunter, and it was just killing them over and over again. 1, 2, 3, 4 HKs. Like, it is broken out of control.
Ranged hunter?
Yes.
I bet I could take down a hunter.
Is it because
can
of
still do
Chimera
it.
shot?
Aim shot, Chimera shot is buffed. Yeah, let's pull it up actually. Let's see.
Steady shot is instant.
Steady shot, yep. Let's pull it up. We'll read it out loud here. Since that's what I'm good for, right? I read blue posts. Let's see. We've got rapid killing now reduces the cooldown of rapid fire by 80%. Chimera shot has been increased to 135%, up from 120. Explosive shot base damage before attack power increased to 50%. Sniper training has an additional new effect. While sniper training is at 5 stacks, aim shot is instant cast. Serpent spread now causes multi-shot to apply serpent sting to its targets for 12 seconds, was 6 seconds. Steady shot now deals 100% weapon damage. Like, it was just a straight up. You know what it is though? I don't think it's a bad thing. I really don't. I don't think it's a bad thing, and I think it's good, because I don't think that you should be funneled into playing melee hunter, because that does not go with the class fantasy of playing hunter. When you roll a hunter, you're not trying to play rogue, right?
It's nice for them. They've got two play styles that are both good to play.
That almost makes me like I was making a horde hunter to play melee hunter, but now that range hunter is like
But
that,
they're
bro,
not-
like
That's kind
I'm
of
not
the funny things is they're not funneled into playing melee. They're playing melee because it had stronger DPS. They could actually ranged was kind of viable already before the buff. I mean, look at the logs.
A
lot of
people
people-
have ranged in PvP mostly.
Yeah,
I don't
range
know.
in PvP, yes, but if we look at the logs, I don't think range was
Now
up there, Glorious.
No, it was okay. I mean,
I don't-
maybe
Yeah.
in the middle of the pack.
Yeah,
I don't
it was
think- I don't-
mid-pack, yeah.
Bro,
I don't
how the
know how
hell
many
is
people-
aim shot instant though? That's like freaking Starburst like level of contradictory or whatever the hell they say. Like, how can it be aimed in instant? Like, that's just gonna.
I don't think
I can. Yeah, go ahead.
I don't know too many people that are going to care about it, but with how buff range has got, think of how well all their gold farming they're going to do goes that they can already pull off.
Oh my god, yeah, it's
The,
gonna
the,
be
the
out of
range
fucking
gold farm is
control,
going to go
dude.
out of control.
Don't give them ideas. You're giving them ideas already.
I
they
can't
already
wait
have
till
the
they-
ideas. There's no.
I was about to say, I grew up with Zuda on his hunter, and he's out there soloing level 58 mobs and shit, and I'm over here struggling to keep up.
Yeah,
But
it
you
is.
spent what did you spend 22 minutes killing a mob like last phase? That was like level 50 and you were level 40? Or what was it? Was that you?
Yeah, I spent 20 minutes last phase. I was level 40. I just wanted to see if I could do it. I used my World Warper trinket, and it took me to the troll village in Darkshore where they're like level 58 mobs. And after 20 minutes, I finally brought down to level 58. Okay,
Wild.
dedication.
I think there's something that we like very briefly touched on earlier that I think we should go back to, because I think there's a lot more that can be said. And that is the raid difficulty and how fast they nerfed it. And this is a really controversial topic, which is why I want to bring it up. because I think I want to hear everyone's like individual opinion on this. My opinion on this is that it was nerfed way too soon. And we nerfed it based on, well, they nerfed it based on people trying to clear the raid with suboptimal comps, not a full set of their new runes, no like full pre-bis farms. And I just think that if the raid was at its full difficulty now, where we're at now with knowing the mechanics, doing it for 3 weeks, right? We've done it 3 times. Knowing the mechanics, we have some gear now. We have all of our runes. We have like a pretty optimal comp for the most part. Like, do you think that was a bad call? And like,
Yes.
answer this knowing,
Yes.
right? And I agree, but like, we got to remember also that the reason why it was nerfed is because in Season of Discovery, they want everyone to experience the content, which I agree with. Everyone should experience the content. It's classic WoW, but there is a catch to that. Like,
So,
go ahead, Chibi.
okay, I'm gonna tell those story here just because I know we're all sweaty gamers. My
Excuse
brother,
me.
he's been playing for a while, but he's a noob. Whatever, like he's a green parser, blah blah blah. Like I went over to his house like a while back, and like I was doing some PvP for him because he needed some stuff and he hates PvP. I'm like, "Where's your keybinds?" And he looks at me, he's like, "What's a keybind?" And this is the guy, yeah. And even he's saying like, "Dude, this stuff just it's too easy." So, like, people are saying, "Oh, for the 1%, like, okay, it's too easy or whatever." No, it's. I feel like it's too easy for 60-70% of the population. So
Yeah.
like whether you want to
I don't think so.
like,
Oh, we got Perry in chat now. Perry said, "Give us heroic mode."
yeah,
I'm
either
not saying that.
either heroic mode or like honestly, you can give the bottom 30% like raid finder so they can experience it with
Yeah.
garbage loot. Like, I mean, it's just got to be. People are
But
burnt out on
Keep
content.
in mind that this is leveling raid, right? It's not like end game content. You know, 2 months or 1 month, and then the new phase is coming or whatever, right? After probably Cataclysm. I think that the difficulty should be reasonably hard, but easy enough that you can clear it in a couple of weeks, like 2 or 3 weeks. And then imagine that if we are wiping and we have pretty decent heal and DPS and tanking ability, except for people falling in holes. I think that I had to.
Yeah.
And then
Who the hell did that, dude?
Whatever way.
Who fell in the hole?
Yeah,
What?
I don't know. So imagine
Who the fuck is that guy?
Again, I think there's gonna be still people who cannot clear the last few bosses because it's just gonna be too hard for them, and so I think it's okay. I think they should make level 60 raids in a way that there is some challenging content in it, and not level 50 raids. And level 50 raid it's basically a glorified danger. The idea is not to complete it in 20 minutes, to complete it in 2 hours. I think that's the original intent.
Glorious, I got a question. Is it too difficult, or are people just not performing basic mechanics because they'd rather spend 2 hours complaining on a forum than watch a 30-second time?
The second.
Right.
The second.
Thank
Yeah.
I think people just want something that they want to play. They want to get the feeling that they kill the boss, but they
Whatever
don't really want to work and farm and then get the gears and go to danger and all that. And
Whatever the
I
hell
think
that
for leveling,
video
they
was.
don't, right?
That was
Yeah.
like, Derek, get out of the fire. Come on, Derek, you can do it.
Yeah.
Like, yeah. There's a lot of Dereks that just don't
So-
want to do mechanics.
And I'm saying that I could do much more difficult. I mean, I was raiding Mythic as well, so I could do much harder. But it's like, you know, I think the length of the raid in this kind of context, in this kind of content, it's a classic WoW, is okay. And I'm pretty sure I'm in the minority. But I told you in the beginning, I'm the one who's breaking your WoW. So sorry about that.
So
I think personally, it's like a double-edged sword when it comes to something like this. It's like, yes, I think the content could be a little bit harder, but at the same time, I think Glorious makes a good point where it's like they want people to see the content, but at the end of the day, it's like it's really not that hard mechanically. Half the time, it's literally just move to the left, move to the right, move to the left, move to the right. That's all it is. It's
Yeah.
like,
I mean, we got a
I
good
think
comment,
that's
Semp,
But
if you want to talk to
there's a
this.
scale.
Um,
Sure.
Drew Doan said, if the player base was okay with doing 6 out of 8, then it would be fine having difficult content. But since that's not the case, Blizz cannot have difficult content, which I don't know why that's the case in retail, right? Like there's millions of people who play retail and they're completely okay with not clearing mythic level rating content and they still play the game. Why do we have to put that same stamp on classic is my question.
See, and then that's where the argument comes in with the fact that it's like, if you want to play a difficult game, go play retail.
Right. And she said classic WoW raids are to chill once a week with the boys. And like, I completely agree with that. But what's the harm in having 2 goalposts, right? Like one where it's like, oh, chill with the boys and just raid, and like Agron said, soda and pretzels feel, right? Like you could sit there with one hand eating and just do the raid. And then having a little bit more difficult content for the people like us, or myself really. I'm not going to speak for all of you, but I truly enjoy classic and I enjoy raiding and I enjoy WoW, and it's a huge part of my life. I've been playing it forever, but I don't enjoy retail as much as I enjoy classic, the playstyle, the combat, everything, right? So like, yeah, it's a different game. It's a completely different game. I respect retail and people who play retail. And I do play retail for the first month that it comes out every single time, but then I log off and I go right back to classic and I never play it again. And that's because it's just, you're right, it's a completely different game. So to me, classic is my game. I love classic. And I would love like having, you know, the casual raid and then maybe a harder difficulty, 2 goalposts, right? Maybe those people who can yeah, like there's people out there, if we're going to say they can only clear then the easy mode of the raid, right? The casual mode of the raid. That's fine. Let them do that. But guess what? I bet you after they're doing that for 3 or 4 weeks on end, they're going to be like, oh, let's try the harder mode. Let's try and get like the higher item level gear. It's going to entice people to want to try harder content instead of just being like, oh, it's too hard, nerf it for everyone. Boom, it's easy. Now, like literally, we run through it in an hour and a half.
All it needs to happen is like heroic modes from Ulduar. Like, for example, let me take Sunken Temple. Let's say the Jamal On and Ogam, I think his name is, whatever his name is. What if there was like right before the boss fight like area, right? There's like this little like sacrificial, I don't know, like altar thing, let's say. What if every player in the raid had to click on it to give like blood, like sacrificial blood to it? And if everyone does that, it activates a hard mode of the raid. Like something like that.
Druid.
I don't know, just something like that. I think if you want the raid to be harder, I think they definitely should add a hard mode into the classic, but it should be like an activation very similar to Ulduar rather than it just being like a hard mode.
The only real argument I've like people making against it is because it goes against like the classic field, but I feel like we're
this game
beyond
isn't
that
classic
point.
anymore.
Yeah, we're not classic anymore, right?
I'm gonna go with the way the easiest way to fix it is do just what she said, which I've been saying this whole time. Go ahead and we have the nerf version. Everybody can clear it. Make a hard mode where it's the pre-nerfed, you know, super health bosses and you know other shit. You can't give other gear because one, that'll make the raid eventually easier for us. / if we got better gear, we take that out in the open world, we have an advantage over other people. You can't do that. Make it to where it's cosmetics like reskins or everybody loves a mount reward. Right. Make it to where you complete the hard mode, you got a cool mount that you can go flex on somebody.
I get that, but at the same time, in my opinion, that's not classic. To me, if you are clearing the harder content and you are obtaining better gear, you should have an advantage over other people. That's what made classic amazing, in my opinion. Right? Think of, like when I played classic when I was a kid, I never stepped foot into Nax or anything past Molten Core. Right? I was like 12 years old at the time playing it. And I still loved the game to the point where 20 years later, playing this game is literally like part of my job, right? Like I love the game. And I enjoyed it that much that I've been playing it my entire life. And I never even stepped foot into half the content that was in the game at the time. Mm-hmm. So in my opinion, it's more of like a personal thing. Like Blizzard maybe is making decisions based on how they think people personally feel. Where I think that most of the casual players don't really give a shit if they can clear the raid, to be completely honest. Like, a lot of people who play this game that casually, where they're playing it for the leveling experience and for the exploration, I would, like, actually argue to say that more than half of them don't even ever step foot into an endgame raid, and they still enjoy the game. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's what I mean. Like, it's kind of a weird thing. Really the problem is who are they trying to please here? Where they can kind of please both if they just added harder difficulties.
I just think there's a loud minority that really wants to kind of have everything handed to them, and you know, you don't have the BIS gear, which I think pretty much everybody's able to get. I remember phase 2, like you go around Ironforge, like after the 3rd week, you inspect somebody, you can't tell if they're a 99 parser or the ad with 15 families that can only play half an hour every other Sunday, you know?
Yeah, right. I think that's important that it's
the same.
It's not just the difficulty. I mean, it's a question of how much time you need to put in order to get something, right? That's like the it's impossible to scale it, right? Like, so some people play 1 hour every week and the other one is 5, and then somebody like, you know, 100 hours. So how can you create content that pleases all of them? You
just for if y'all are playing y'all's games right now, just a real quick question: how much time / play do you have on your main?
Like 27 days.
At this level.
At this level, I think 3 to 4, somewhere in there.
I'm on my hunter right now, but I'll get on my warlock real quick to look.
I'm at 31 days played total, 6 days played this level already.
Jesus Christ, bro.
Yeah, you're casual. Yeah,
but you're super casual. That's casual.
I want to
rookie numbers.
I want to reiterate on something Hammer said about, you know, just playing the game, not necessarily clearing content. I've been playing WoW since 2005. I got to enjoy Classic in its original state and everything. Clearing Classic Nax since 2005, I've only done twice, and that was in 2019.
Right. That's my point, dude. And you still play the game. You still love the game. You still enjoy the game. Like, I think that the mentality that every single player needs to be able to experience the highest level of content is actually not a good trait to have in a game.
It's hurting the game.
Right. It gives those casual players nothing to really strive for, right? Like the example I gave before of like, okay, so if let's say there was an easy mode of Sunken Temple and a hard mode, right? Most players are doing the hard mode, the casuals are doing the normal mode. There's nothing wrong with doing the normal mode, right? Like Gloria said, maybe these people only have 30 minutes a week to play or 30 minutes a day to play, right? They could still experience the content. They're not experiencing the highest level of content, but I mean, to me, if you're trying to make a game where you can play 15 hours and play 1 hour and experience the exact same level of content and clear the same level of content, that's always going to feel like not as good for the people who are putting in more time and playing more, right?
Well, that was the thing about original Classic. It wasn't difficult, but it rewarded your time.
Right. It was a time sink. Exactly. And that's exactly what this could be too. Like those casual players could clear Sunken Temple for the past 3 weeks and the next 2 weeks on easy mode, right? And let's say the last 3 weeks are coming, phase 4 was announced, like we know what's coming, this and that. And they're like, you know what, guys, let's have some fun. Let's bump it up to heroic and see what we can clear. Like, in my opinion, that's better off for the overall integrity of the game, right? Like a game that pushes people to like actually try and be engaged with it and learn and do better, in my opinion, is healthier for the player base. It's going to make people want to play more. It's going to make you want to log in more. It's going to want to make you do some research online, watch my videos, you know what I'm trying to say? Be like, oh, I'm trying to find the best way to do the warrior rotation in phase 3. They're going to look at my videos, right? They're going to look shit up. Yeah. Instead of just like logging in and mindlessly hitting their buttons.
Well, it's like, I'll go back to or you go ahead, Shibby. You have a WoW topic to talk about. I was going to stray off for a second, but you go ahead.
I was just going to say, I think it's even like too easy for like a lot of the casuals. Like, I mean, these guys that don't play much, they're even getting burnt out on content.
Yeah,
very, very
exactly.
Quickly. But why they rushed out another phase is because, you know, 7 weeks of Nomer for even the casual is just way too much.
Yep.
But this is harder than Nomer. I think we can agree.
I don't think so.
I mean, I disagree too. I disagree that this is harder than Nomer. I really do.
I do. I
feel
think
like
it's harder than Homer. I do.
I mean, the second week we were clearing it in like 1 hour, and third week we were clearing it 40 minutes or so, right? Like, she tell me. Maybe I don't
Sunken
remember
Temple's
correctly.
longer with a lot more trash though.
Yeah, longer, but also you can wipe here. I mean,
Did we wipe more on Thermoplug or have we wiped more on Aranicus?
I think we already wiped more on Sunken Temple total than in Nomragon for the whole duration of the whole Nomragon.
Do you remember those last few weeks?
The way I see Nomergon versus Sunken Temple is, Sunken Temple, if you take away like all the ads, Sunken Temple has a lot of ads. That's why it feels so long. It doesn't have as much ads as Nomergon. Sunken Temple, like I mentioned earlier, is move to the left, move to the right, move to the left. The Menagerie fight in Nomergon and the Thermoplug fight had the melee literally moving in a circle, had to time kicks perfectly while moving in a circle. You weren't standing still. You had to kill an egg. Like, Menagerie fight, that was that. And then
right.
Thermoplug, you had like the range going back and forth, having to click the buttons, all that stuff.
I was gonna say Crowd Pummeler and Electrocutioner had mobility mechanics that were pretty good, having to not get yeeted off the platform, and then Electrocutioner having to move out 3 at a time.
Yeah, Electrocutioner is probably the fight that's had like the most mechanics in Season of Discovery so far.
Once we broke up and I started pugging runs, that was it. If we could get through that Menagerie and Thermoplug usually went pretty smooth. The amount of groups I was in that actually just could not figure out how to move 3 at a time on Electrocutioner killed us. So it was insane how many people couldn't figure that out.
We got Curly in chat saying like if they do add hard modes like in Wrath Classic, it started to die like in Old War, and created the Hardcore Classic era. Like, wouldn't that just happen again? Like, what do you guys think about that?
If it gives gear, like that, I mean, that's my takeaway from it. If it gives gear and we have an advantage, then yes, it does hurt your casual enjoyers of the game. Because
why can't they just do regular?
What do you mean?
It's not the same. If there is a higher difficulty, you want to do that. If you cannot do that, or you can only do the first boss, you're gonna burn out trying it. Actually, I think that's part of the appeal. I have personally have in Classic is that I don't have to raid 2, 3, 4 times in a week. But I remember in retail, if we didn't raid 2 or 3 times in a week, we couldn't achieve crap, right? I mean, you can go to Raid Finder, okay, but it's like it's nothing. I don't know who thought that idea is good, but I mean maybe the original intent was good. But what I'm saying is in this version of the WoW, what I like is that you can get something during leveling, you can do something else, you can go PvP ship. I mean, imagine you have to prepare for the raid. You would have to normally prepare for the raid, and you would have 3-4 times a week a raid. You would not have time to go for those delicious PvP events with shamans and all that. So I think that's. I mean, I'm not saying there shouldn't be a harder difficulty.
Right.
Maybe we should have what Cheese also mentioned that like, but as soon as it starts awarding gear, people want to try it and they're gonna fail or they're not gonna get far and then they're gonna burn out. And I think this version of the WoW is like chill. Like just go play WoW, chill, level up, go some PvP and stuff. It shouldn't be about progressing. And what you're talking about is progression. Or heroic mode or whatnot is progression.
I just don't think with them addressing and saying, well, we're making it for the casual, like they'll still have those casual elements. Like not everybody playing retail is doing Mythic Plus. They can still do regular hard mode, whatever they want to do. And if it is truly about playing the content, then they can still do their normal mode stuff.
No, you are wrong, and this is the end of the discussion. No, actually, I agree. I kind of agree that I think they should make it in level 60 in a way that it was before, where some people cannot get to Naxxramas because they cannot clear even the one before, or they have, that has progression, but that's really the end game, level 60. I think here the idea was only like, you are trying to play a bit more on a certain level, but it's not about progressing through the raid. These are just like long dungeons. I think that was the idea. But maybe
I
I'm
guess
wrong. We'll see.
I'm gonna, yeah, we'll have to wait and see what 60 actually brings. If they don't do anything for PvE, I think they should at least throw some sort of ranked PvP or something for people to do.
Yes, dude, the dueling island.
Yes, like Zara, you brought up, I think it was originally. Like, just you gotta have something. Like, I mean,
I was gonna say
there's just nothing to do for so many people after a week or two.
I was gonna say let's save 60 talk for like next tavern.
Yeah, next week we'll talk about next phase. We'll be 1
Otherwise,
week closer.
Otherwise, we're gonna have nothing to talk about.
Yeah.
Except whatever update they did on a Tuesday.
Except for whatever beverages we are.
It's not true though, Pudding, because we do all get into pretty heated discussions / arguments every single night in Discord.
I mean,
so
this is 2 hours plus.
Only because you got streamer privilege, and me and Cheese are over here calling you out about it because you don't realize
I don't have streamer privilege at all, dude.
Bullshit.
I literally don't.
We were-
I actually don't.
Me and Cheese were over here struggling through horde incursions, and you over here within 2 seconds got us on this amazing layer that had no alliance. We were just rocking and rolling. Then as soon as you left the group, within about an hour, we were back to getting destroyed. Okay, talk about I don't have stream privilege.
Drudone said, "Did all 5 of you love Psalm?"
Never played it.
I'm actually curious. I enjoyed Psalm for what it was. I didn't play it very long. I'll be completely honest.
Sorry, just what is Psalm?
Season
of Mastery.
Season of Mastery, the first season last year or the year before that, actually.
I enjoyed the leveling experience of Psalm. The takeaway, the problem I had with Psalm is, one, I played Horde. It was hard as shit to clear the tuned up difficulty of the raids. It was hard as shit to clear on the Horde side. The Alliance, with Paladins having Salvation and a mini world buff, which is Kings, made it so much better for the Alliance side. I didn't take that one into consideration, because Horde without world buffs, Wind Fury is not enough for the tank to hold threat and actually down bosses quickly.
Did you have more fun rating that way or original classic though, where you steamrolled everything?
It was fun rating. It was a fun rating. The other problem I had with it was, it broke down into two groups basically. One group that I personally played with the whole time. We were out farming, doing dungeons, getting our 0.5 set together to go into raiding. The other half of the raid team only ever sat in org, constantly doing PvP to get their rank 14 sets. So that, and what sucked about it is
that broke some. That completely broke some.
The amount of work we put into getting 0.5 and then getting rank 14, their rank 14 gear was far superior to what we had, unless you were rogue. The rogue 0.5 set is wonky, but they didn't. Any of the rank 14 players did not need any gear other than like a few minor upgrades. It's like I don't like the way they released everything at one time with Season of Mastery, minus the raids.
I agree. That completely busted the entire season, in my opinion. We got Curly said, I think it works in retail because there's so much other content to do besides mythics, like transmog, mount collection, etc. It's huge. So maybe add more casual PvE content to SOD. What do you guys think about that?
I mean, it all depends on what they're going to add to SOD.
Yeah.
Are you going to add transmog? Are you going to add more mounts? Are you going to add an easier way to get said mounts if you were to add them?
How could they add it, right, Sem? Because think about what they've added in Phase 3, right? They added Incursions, which was supposed to be PvE content. They've added the Wild Offerings farm, which basically results in you killing Princess 100 times. Really, I mean, that's like exactly what it turned into. And I think that there's other ways to go about this, and in my opinion, I guess it's a super hot take, and not many people agree with me, but I do think that hard modes for all of these things would solve literally every single issue. Heroic raid, heroic dungeons, done. You beat it.
I'm gonna say,
that's literally the problem.
Give me heroic modes. Give me heroic modes.
Yes.
And give me arenas. I'll shut up and I'll be content forever.
Yeah.
Me too.
Dude, just copy TBC and Wrath, like, at this point. Really. That's literally all people want. TBC and Wrath were super successful. That's like classic WoW. We can just play TBC and Wrath in the vanilla universe, farm dungeons for some kind of badge to purchase some kind of gear that could potentially be your bis. Like, we love that shit. Everyone loves that shit.
I think more mounts should be added, coming from a avid mount farmer in retail.
A dual tournament island would be cool. That would be cool.
Yeah, that was the Zarya thing. He was saying that with the island, and
if it's open PvP, it's going to turn into a mess like Blood Moon.
Yeah,
it needs to be something you have to go initiate.
Dude, even they could fix something like that, like just get rid of buff and like stacking, because it just stacks 1,000 people on each other. Like nobody's PvPing, it's just chaos.
Right. Yeah, it would need to be like exactly like he said, like an island dedicated for people to hang out, right? Your PvPers can hang out on this island. There's like, posts that you can run up to and right click to reset your cooldowns for just like dueling people. And this was my idea, that maybe there's an NPC there where you can walk up to with someone else in a group and start a wagered duel, like bid gold, right? And like other players can walk up and like talk to this NPC and be like, I bid 10 gold on this guy, 10 gold on this person. Like, I think that would add so much more content to this game. It would be unbelievable how much fun I would live on that island.
How about
wagering on duels?
I actually just thought about a cool idea. Sorry.
Go ahead, Puddin.
A cool idea I just thought about. And they actually did one good thing, I will say, maybe, that came from Shadowlands. And I think they did it before Shadowlands too. I can't remember though. Make an arena that you go into, like Cheese just said, last man standing. Go, like, you queue into it, it's like 15 or 20 of y'all, last man standing wins. And you get,
yeah, that'd be cool.
Dude. Earn rewards for that.
This is experimental, right? They can do literally anything. So just get crazy with it. I think the PvP island is a must, and it should be in the game, and it would give a form of repeatable content for everybody. Every content creator on Twitch and on YouTube would be hosting tournaments and like all this crazy shit. You'd be able to walk up as someone who's not even like part of a big thing, right? You can just go to this island and sit at this NPC late at night when you can't sleep and bid on duels. Like, that alone is content, in my opinion.
What about instead just like bidding gold on duels, you could also like wager rating or honor or something like that to like build up and get rewards.
Anything, anything, any amount of wagering, like gambling. Let's just get real here. It's gambling in WoW with WoW currency. Like gambling in-game currency, whether it's honor, rating, a rank, gold, like that will always be fun for a lot of people.
Based on how many people do the death rolls for just random garbage.
Right. Exactly.
Phase 4, I'm going to host an Arcanite bar duel tournament. Entry is 3 Arcanite bars. Winner take all.
It's all the Arcanite bars.
Yep, winner take all.
Like all right, like exactly like you just said. Think about phase 1, dude. We hosted our dueling tournament. That was absolutely super fun. I never hosted another one, and the reason for that was that literally couldn't get more than 5 people that were interested in PvPing. I've messaged people. I've talked to everyone. I literally could not get more than 5 people that were interested in logging on for more than just the raid. And I think that's like a product of like what Season of Discovery is. It's become like a super raid loggy thing where it's meant to just play alts, where it could be this thing where you're like in this world like we were back in the day, right? You like live in this world. You could do anything on this character that you have. And like the gambling aspect, I'm all for it. I think that'd be so much fun. I'm so sad that they got rid of GDKPs.
those phase 1 duels between me and Shaz are some of my best moments from
Oh, that
Season of
was so
Mastery
fun to watch,
or
man.
Season of Discovery. God, there were some long duels. I went through in that last duel me and him had. I went through 10 mana pots, just burning them. Like he had so much. Like he probably spent about 20 gold on just sleep dusts alone.
Yep.
I
Like
mean,
it
definitely, like, I
that was a
don't think
good duel.
maybe content-wise, obviously there will be better phases, but I don't think any phase will ever be better than phase 1.
Yeah,
And then
well,
who can
phase
forget-
1 was
who can-
fantastic, man.
Phase 1 incorporated actual classic stuff, like you got your pre-bis from dungeons and everything. Now all your pre-bis is just the last raid.
the last raid,
Yeah.
minus a
Like-
few upgrades from whatever dungeon they made or updated.
Yeah.
Yep.
I mean, it was a
phase one
blend of.
was. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say it's like it was a blend of classic and this new season, which I think is what they wanted. And the last 2 phases have just been new content that just runs out too fast.
I don't know if I got a
officially
hot-
I have a different take on this ship. Is like I agree that phase 1 was the best. I kind of like that, especially as you said that was really discovery, that was leveling, focus, and all that. But in terms of the gearing, I think after phase 2, phase 3 is still an improvement because they didn't pump up Sunken Temple too high. The gear, I mean, it looks like it's sometimes not even an upgrade, and I think that's because you still can go back to Gnomeregan and can go to Dangerous and get some upgrades. I mean, there's a good chance.
That's just kind of what I'm saying. But it's so easy. Everybody's basically full bis going into the next phase that they already have all their pre-bis and.
Well, not
really
everyone got the dagger. Not everyone got that.
Okay, well, like one special random item that you don't get to drop. Like that's not gonna make or break anything. Like people aren't gonna go back. Like how many numbers have you done to go back and?
I tried twice, but I couldn't get the people on.
Yeah, see,
But,
nobody
Well,
wants.
like
to
I always go back to the BFD staff, for example. Shibby's staff that he has on his druid, right? The like 1 crit or like the 2 spell crit
2
chance and like the 19 spell power. The BFD staff has more spell power than that, I'm pretty
Yep.
sure.
It
Like
does.
that's insane. That's a level 25 staff.
Well, that staff, if it was in classic, would be pre-bis for 60.
Yeah, like
still, I mean, phase 1 was. I think there's not going to be anything like that anytime soon because
There will
phase 1
never
was
be
like
anything.
that magical moment, right? Like everything just worked. Like
Yeah.
really discovery. It was. Now it is back to iterative. Like these phases are kind of trying to do the same thing over and over again. We'll see if level 60 is going to be magical or it's going to be just another iteration.
Right.
Maybe
As
they
much
just wait
as
for
I
the next
love-
season of whatever.
We got a comment
Unless-
if you want to answer this, Semp. Drewtown said, should they double the XP needed to hit 60? What do we think about that?
I wouldn't
It's
say
like-
I'm not gonna say double it. Do not straight out the gate give us the XP buff though.
Yeah.
You want to know why I want to say no to that comment is the fact that 60 is the end game. We don't go past level 60.
Right.
If you're going to let us get to all of these levels this fast, just let us get to max level. Like don't half-baked fucking like give us this, oh, now it's harder to level the last 10 levels. No, if you're going to give us all these levels to get fast, just let me get to level 60 and let me do the actual content of the game.
What
Right.
what if they incorporate something that you could actually need from 50 to 60 though? Like it's a time sink to level, but you're going out and leveling and getting like actual decent gear that's going to be an upgrade from Sunken Temple stuff. Like it feels like you're actually doing something rather than just grind.
There's on the way to 60. There's 3 pieces I know I want from just BRD alone while we're leveling.
And
You
can
want
go to-
Iron
Well,
Fog.
if that's how it's going to be, then I think, in my
Iron
opinion,
Fog
I
with
stand
lava
by
jump
this.
runs. Anybody?
Yeah. I stand by the fact that the raid should not open up until the following week. And I say that because it literally makes me not enjoy the game as much because I'm rushing to cap level so that we could hit that first lockout like we did this phase. If there is a reason for it to take long and level from 50 to 60, then I really don't think the raid should open up until the following week. Like if the phase launches on Thursday, why do we need to hit 60 and do the raid, clear it within 4 days for us to be like in the top. Like we're not enjoying the game at that point. We're just burning out. We're spamming dungeons. We're doing whatever is the fastest way possible, right, to hit cap level.
So
I
you're
don't think
doing
that's
that
good.
to basically be at the top and be ahead of everybody, though, right?
Right.
So aren't you just going to do that with other content to prep for the raid? So maybe we don't have the
Yeah.
raid yet, but I can go farm all this stuff if I play 20 hours a day, and then we can just blitz through the
I'm still gonna play as much as I can, but
Exactly.
That's a problem.
Yeah.
You end up the same place that if you
Well,
open up
see-
2 weeks later, then you have 2 weeks to prepare for the raid. If you open up 1 week, then you have 1 week to prepare for the raid. So
I like watching the race to world first too. I think it's fun. I think it's
But
more
I,
fun if
I'm
people
gonna
go-
go back to Destiny for a second.
Here we
Every
go.
time a new raid releases in Destiny, like right now, I'm actually preparing for the new raid, the new expansion that's going to release in Destiny in May. And the raids in Destiny do not release until a week after the expansion comes out, or maybe even a little longer. But because they give you time to like get your level up and your gear up more to actually prepare for the raid, because you need a certain like level to get into the raid, like gear score, basically. If we're talking WoW terms, and maybe not implement. Obviously, do not implement like you need a certain gear score to get into the raid. But I definitely think that 1 week would definitely help prepare people that are actually like serious about the game. Like if you're not serious about the game, like you just want to get to level and like try the content, sure, go into the content. But if you don't have the gear, like don't complain that the gear's like the stuff is harder, right?
I mean the easy. Sorry.
No, go on. I was basically done.
I was gonna say the easiest way to fix that whole first week rushing, instead of releasing on a Thursday like they have been, release it on a Tuesday reset after get it all put out. That's a whole week till next reset to get to the next level, and then do the raid if it's released at the same time. I mean, other than that, I mean, people are gonna race
Or-
and do the fastest
I like-
method.
I like Cheese's comment he just put up. Locking it means that the race will world first won't be 15 undergeared mages, so the raid won't get nerfed immediately.
Yes, that's very
That
true.
that is true.
I mean,
I
if
would-
they would
I'm
have
not gonna lie.
laws,
The
If
the
they
first
go ahead.
the first clear, whether it's a hard raid or not, whoever does the first clear, I would not use any of their I wouldn't use them for data gathering at all, okay? Because whoever goes first, those are your top like 0.1% people going for quickness.
Well, yeah, literally, the first Sunken
never-
Temple was
yeah.
cleared by fucking 15 green boy mages from Nomergon that have literally 800 health each. Like, what do you expect?
And then they nerfed it. They nerfed
I
it
mean-
for them. Like I don't get that.
I mean, if they would have balls, they would not release the raid for like 4 weeks. And they would make dungeons and all the rest of the content irrelevant for much longer. And then, they would force people to actually play the rest of the WoW, and instead of just the raids. But I'm pretty sure they're not gonna do it. But
Yeah, I mean, I guess Glorious makes a good point there. And I don't mean that when I say what I'm about to say, I don't mean this in like a bad way at all. When we did our first 2 raids, we didn't do SRs, right?
Right.
Like, some of the people got like 3 tokens in the first run.
Yeah, some
They
people
got their
were
3
told-
set
yeah.
immediately.
Yeah.
Then it takes away the, oh, now I need to gear my character up. No, they don't. They got their 3-piece.
Right.
It's like, and I'm not saying that's a product of
Okay,
that. We didn't do
0 pieces
SRs,
still.
right? Like that's just luck. I'm not blaming luck for that, but Glorious makes a good point of where it's like, if the raid wasn't released for a certain amount of time, you actually have to play the game.
Correct.
To get
That's my
you.
point. That is my
Yeah.
absolute point. I'm as sweaty as you can get. I will be sweaty. If it's available, I'm going to do it because of the FOMO, right? But like, I do truly believe that if the vision of SOD was exactly the same as it was in Phase 1, these raids would be locked for a week or 2 at the beginning of a phase. People would be out, they'd find their runes, there'd be people to do content with, like, and if you are someone who's super sweaty and levels super fast, you'd be able to level 2 characters to cap level during that time when everyone is doing it. And then start your
Yeah.
like pre-raid farm and start trying to clear the raid, whatever. Like, I think it's kind of counterproductive to have these raids. Say that this is for everyone, and then be like, oh, but by the way, if you don't hit 50 in 3 days and clear the raid, you're a week behind, and it's a 7-day lockout. So I don't know. To me, that's I don't agree with it. I will always be on the side of like lock the raid, let the raid open up on the following Tuesday. Do not let people
Phase
into the
1
raid
was the
beforehand.
only phase that will ever be Season of Discovery. I'll just say it. Like, Season
Yeah.
of Discovery, that was only phase 1.
Yeah.
I mean, going back to the first question, how we like phase 3, I think I would add a comment that the reason I strongly, I mean, I said that I really like it, and I kind of like it still. After this conversation, I would adjust that by saying that my retail brain likes it, because it's kind of like that. Like you fast level through the first few phases, you grab your first runes, and then you go into the raid straight, or as many dungeons, as many raid as possible. So that's kind of not as good as I thought it's gonna be, but still better than phase 2. So,
Yes, I mean, yeah, light years ahead of phase 2. No matter what we say here, phase 2 was the worst phase in the game. I don't like Gnomeregan, to be completely honest. I didn't like it before. I didn't like it now. But
I agree with Sam. I think phase 1 was some magical moment.
yeah, and Curly
Phase
just
1
said
will
like
probably be phase 1 might be one of my favorite moments I've ever had while playing WoW. Like legitimately.
Same.
Could be.
Only thing I want to say
Because
more
Goose was
about,
there.
only thing I want to say more about Phase 4 right now is I really hope they phase the content and don't just give it all to us at one time.
Yes.
yeah,
please.
they won't. I don't
be
think they
like,
will.
oh, here's Molten Core, Blackwing Lair, fucking
If
AQ,
That
Nax.
would be really bad. Yeah.
if they do that, season of Discovery will be over within a month from release at that point.
Yeah, I don't think they would give it to us all in one shot.
They
There's
didn't
just no
season
way.
them, or no, they didn't. They phased the content in season
Yeah.
mastery, sort of.
Like I think it should be Molten Core first, then Anixia. Or do you think it should be like Molten Core and Anixia, or do you think it should be Molten Core first and then it should be Anixia and Blackwing Lair?
Molten Core and Anixia released together.
Okay, so yeah, it should be like Molten Core, Anixia, then Blackwing Lair.
Yeah.
It should just be like normal.
Yeah,
And then
exactly.
after you get Nax,
Exactly.
then you get Karazhan Crypts.
They were talking about raid sizes. Changing some of the old raid sizes. I think, in my opinion, okay, I don't know if y'all like
I don't care. It's classic.
Oh no, if y'all don't like Vault of Archivon, I think it would be cool to see Anixia get, because you're only going in there for what I think
One
there's
boss.
two weapons. It's one boss. There's 2 weapon drops and everybody's tier 2 helmet. Make it to where you can take a 10-man.
No
10-man,
way,
10-man,
dude.
one of every class. Roll it.
Nope. I don't agree, Pudding. I don't agree at all. I don't. I think there's something so fucking epic about putting that goddamn sword down in front of Oni as a warrior or a paladin, and 40 fucking people are around you fighting this giant dragon, and she has to breathe on the sword, and you get Kelsarar. Like, that is so epic to me. I don't care what anyone says. Since I'm a kid, that was like the coolest thing ever. Like, Oni to me, 40-man. Has to be 40-man.
It's one boss though. Like, man, what about a 20-man?
Strong as everybody is at this point, I think we're probably going to be able to go in there.
Yeah, of course. Right.
We're gonna
I was about to say, I saw in 2019 Classic, I saw him 5-man at 60. Yeah, just super geared 5-man.
Now, question real quick? Do y'all think these raids should be? Y'all think they should be kept 40-man, or do y'all think they should be made 20-man?
Oh, 20.
Some of them stay iconic 40-man. Like Molten Core, leave it at a 40-man. It was the first 40-man. Leave it at a 40-man.
I think they should revamp the whole thing and not make it 40. It's just too, I mean, especially for a guild, right? Like putting together 40-man plus reserves and all that. I mean,
all right. So I'm gonna use my Classic experience from 2019. Even on our best guild nights, okay, as a pretty good guild, our best nights, we were averaging about 30 guild members in the raid. The other 10, we were pugging usually. Which, I mean, there's nothing wrong with that.
Puddin', like, these raids so far in SOD have not been hard, but like we look at like whatever Hakar the last boss is in ST, one person screws up, they can wipe everybody. If we have 40 people, like there's a Derek in there.
And I like it. I like it.
It's gonna be so bad.
Let the poke parries thinking they can shadow step. Let them come on in. Let's have it.
I can already see Perry shadow stepping into the tanks with living bomb.
I can see it. Let's have it.
Maybe Paddington just didn't want to play with you. That's why you got only 30.
The 40 mans cannot have that sort of mechanic. Otherwise, the pugs are just gonna take over the forums.
It is
none
true.
of them are gonna clear anything.
Dude, do you realize how many? What was that? What's the famous hardcore griefer? What's that guy's name?
Tiny violin.
Tiny dude. Do you know how many tiny violins there's gonna be? Right, rampant bugs.
You know, I might be the minority here. I fucking love Tiny Violin and everything he stands for.
Dude, he's great.
Oh guys, I clicked the wrong button. Oh no.
I'm here for it. Okay, if he was that sweaty to level his own 60 character or however he did it, work his way into this group and then do that to him.
Dude, he was undercover for like hundreds and hundreds of hours.
And then
the thing is at the end of the day, the only the argument that people had for him was that the people who were actually like hardcore playing WoW in game were all cheating anyway.
Yeah.
Yep.
And then he went incognito mode and did it again. I mean, bro, come on, man.
Yeah. I mean, we got a couple things we could address from chat here, but we probably should wrap this up soon. We're going on almost 3 hours.
Yeah, I like the off-topic, the Curly Bros talking about server transfers because I was actually going to bring that up before I saw his comment.
Yeah, if you want to jump on that, Pudding, we'll start with that.
What would y'all's opinion be if they just randomly, going into Phase 4, they said, you know what, we're opening server transfers completely. Everybody's going to flock to one server. It happened in Season of Master. Everybody went to John Gabar.
Yep.
It would happen with Crusader Strike. Everybody's going to go there so they can all play.
Correct.
Wasn't it because Season of Mastery was dead though?
Yes and no, Shibby, because here's the difference.
We still, before they opened it up, we still had about 80 people's worth of raiders in my guild we played on Nightfall at first. We had about 80 players on any given night logged in at 60, playing the game, trying to do something. I didn't even need gear anymore, but I was running 10 to 15 Ubers a day, just getting, people that wanted to come gear. But now once they opened the transfers, of course, my whole guild broke up. We all went to Jom Gabar and everybody, fended for themselves trying to find a spot.
Well, yeah, I mean, this is only limited and it's to PvE. I don't think a lot of people are going to transfer.
I don't think a lot of people would transfer either, because I don't know if you've paid attention to the realm populations. Lone Wolf is high. Crusader Strike is high. Wild Growth is high. Chaos Bolt is locked right now. You can't even make a character on Chaos Bolt.
You can't make an alliance on Crusader Strike either. We tried.
Yeah,
well, no, is Chaos Bolt locked because it was
Chaos
so low?
Bolt is locked.
Was it the one that was locked because they were trying to get people off of it? It was unpopulated and they were trying to move people? Because I know one server they are allowing to transfer to Crusader Strike, and then they're wanting the server to die.
These PvE players aren't gonna transfer there because then they won't be able to PvE either because there's no players. They're not gonna transfer, and the PvP players aren't gonna transfer.
Yeah, I don't think so.
My take. Maybe there's gonna be a handful, but maybe some guild will try to get everybody over to one, but I don't think it's gonna be much.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't transfer to a PvE server if I was paid to do it, to be completely honest. I will never play on a PvE server, ever. I know Pudding wants me to so bad. He was trying the other night, trying to get me to roll on PvE shit.
No, I will
not do it, dude.
I wanted to play on a PvE server when we were when you weren't with us with your streamer privilege, and we were struggling to fucking level Ordside Crusader Strike. Okay? That's the problem. That's the difference. You and your streamer privilege,
but
you can,
like Shibby said earlier, dude, that's part of the classic. That's part of the friction, man. You got to struggle sometimes.
side, man.
What's up, Shibby?
I said, you know it's fun when you're on the other side.
Of course it is. Of course it is. And I've been on the other
Yeah, you
side
have
for the
to-
past 3 days, which is why I'm loving it.
When you're sitting there
Yep.
on your paladin pudding and you get like a group of 20 on that one undead rogue, you know
Yeah.
it feels good. They
Dude,
deserve it.
and as
See,
Horde,
I-
you have 20-minute fucking BG queues. I'm queuing for Arathi Basin, and then I'm flying to the Ashenvale Incursion and just killing people while I'm waiting for the queue to pop. Like, it's so much fun.
Don't get me wrong, I love open world PvP, but I consider myself somewhat an honorable person when it comes to PvP. I'll never make the first move. I'm gonna let you come to me, open up with whatever you want, and then I'm gonna turn around and fuck you with everything I have. Okay, I'll bust sleep dust open world. No shame given. I will get you with everything I have in my arsenal.
I want to address
pop
this one
healing
comment
potions
that we
and
got
duels.
from Druidone. He said, using Hammer's own logic, not everyone deserves to get into every lockout. And I'm going to go on record here and just say that
That's true.
that's basically what I'm saying. Yes. Like a
Yes, that's
100%. And I've been on both sides of that, and it doesn't affect how much you enjoy the game, in my opinion. It really doesn't. Like, I think that having something better that you are trying to obtain, like something that you're striving for, so like a level of play that you're trying to get to, will always give you more enjoyment than just instantly doing everything. And that's just my opinion. I could be completely wrong, but that is what I'm saying, Druidone.
I think maybe this is the only one that we all agree on.
Yeah.
Everyone else, everything else, every other topic, we had some counter argument. But here, I think it's, and I think that the way you phrase it, that you say, how did you say it? Deserves. It's not about deserves. It's like, some people are sweating over it, and so let them have it. So I think people shouldn't look at it as like, some people deserve more. It's more like some people want to play more, and then as a result, they will get to something else. But it doesn't mean that your game is getting worse or anything.
Like so when my perspective of it, when we came from phase 1 and phase 2, and I was our main tank in our 10-man raid group for that, I put my foot down straight out the gate going into phase 3, knowing it's a 20-man, that main tank spot was mine for our raid group. And I will fight whoever else wants to go for it.
Yeah.
It's
I'll do
mine.
it for it.
Yeah.
Let's
said
go,
I agree with
let's
you.
go.
So I wanted to see what your thoughts were on that, Druidone. But like, yeah, that's pretty much what I was saying. Like, I don't think that everyone being able to do every single thing exactly the same and experience it the same as every single person in the game is what makes the game great, because that is 100% not what happened in like actual vanilla and actual classic. And the game clearly was super popular, super successful, and people like fell in love with the game, like, and I think part of that was like not being able to do some things that you saw other people doing. Like when you were like a kid walking around Stormwind, watching rogues run around in like full tier 2 Bloodfang, like you were like, holy shit, like I want to be that guy one day. And like, you maybe you never obtained it until now in like classic or something, but like that's what like made you keep playing. It made you log in every day. You were like, oh my God, I want to look like that guy. Yeah. And like when you give everyone everything so easily, that feeling goes away, and now you're just playing like Diablo. You know what I mean? Like that's straight up what it is. Like really, that's what it is.
That's a low blow.
Everybody has a
yeah, and I respect Diablo, but at the same time, like that's how I feel about like that style of game. Like you know what I mean?
I respect all Diablos up to 3, except 4.
Yeah, correct. I played 4 for 3 hours, and then I logged off and said, "This is not going to be a good game." And
I completed the story, and then I stopped playing.
But that's just what I think. I think giving people to strive, like something to strive for, something to work towards, is always better for the entire player base than just giving people stuff like everybody gets a trophy type of thing. Could be a hot take, but that's just how I feel.
No, you're absolutely
right. I don't agree. Everyone should get participation trophies. I think content that's harder should be able to be done by the people who can actually do the content. And
right.
Like,
a good example. Me, everyone here, did you play Wrath of the Lich King back in the day? Did everyone here play Wrath?
No.
Yeah, you did. Okay. So anyone who did, right? You played Wrath. And even if you played Wrath Classic, did you clear Heroic Lich King both times?
No.
Or even one time?
Nope.
Did you still enjoy the expansion?
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
That's my point.
Yeah.
Like, we don't need to do that. Like, it's not about everyone being able to do the same thing. It's about just playing the game and enjoying it. And people forget that it's an MMO and it's about progression, right? Putting in time,
Exactly.
like developing your character, doing all these things. And like, that's where I have this problem with SOD, where I love SOD and I think it's one of the best things Blizzard has ever done. So I don't want anyone to think that I don't like it. But I do think there's this problem where I don't think Blizzard truly knows who SOD is being designed for. And I don't think they realize it can be designed for everybody, right? By just simple things like adding some just harder difficulty stuff and shit like that.
Dude, original Wrath, like I came in, like I started in original TBC, but I cleared like the phase 1 raids. I got into one Ulduar, and it was a part way through. We got to the boss where you like fight the hands or whatever. First boss Ulduar, I immediately got kicked because I sucked. Never made it back in. That was still probably the most fun I ever had. Like
That
playing the game.
That happened to me in Trial of Crusader in the original Wrath.
Well, I'll use an example of like retail WoW, for example. The highest level rating I have ever done in retail was I did the first 3 bosses of Nyloth of the Waking City, the last raid of Battle for Azeroth. I did the first 3 bosses on mythic difficulty on my hunter. I got the mythic, like a version of the bow. I was so fucking happy. I only did the first 3 bosses, but you know what? I still did them on mythic, and that was enough for me. I still did them on the highest difficulty, and I didn't even care that I didn't finish the raid.
Yeah.
Like,
How
My
much
part-
happier were you getting that versus getting like your epic shoulders this phase, or something like that?
yeah, like the epic shoulders, I went, okay, here's some gold. Okay, here's some gold. Or here's some more of my time. Here's some gold.
Like, yeah.
Oh, did you need more gold? Sorry, here's some more gold.
But now that Sam shared it, I must share it as well. That my best WoW experience was that we've been raiding in Mist of Pandaria Mythic, and we've killed. I don't know if you guys know the boss, Siegecrafter Blackfuse.
One of the hardest fights like ever.
490 something tries. 400
Yeah, like...
several weeks we have been raiding, and it felt just so good. So it's kind of weird because like since that I've been pretty casual and I enjoy leveling and I ding the level. It's like, well, this feels good, and it's compared to Siegecraft or Blackfuse, it's like brain that thing. And I just don't never understand like people complaining about difficulty in WoW while they are okay playing, I don't know, Fallout or Skyrim, whatever, for hundreds of hours literally, and doing the same shit over again. So it's, I don't know, it's kind of double
Yeah.
Double-edged sword.
yeah.
T9 in chat said the reality is the server pop will die and the game dies when the vast majority can't do the content. And then he followed up and said there is a massive pug community in SOD. If you make the raids too hard for pugs, the game dies. I half agree with you on that, T9. Go ahead,
He
Chippy.
also mentioned that like it died during Ulduar, but we got to realize even normal Ulduar, not talking hard modes, is way above what SOD is in terms of difficulty and mechanics.
Oh yeah, light years ahead.
I commented
Still
it.
have like that level and then have your hard mode. Like people just couldn't even clear regular Ulduar.
I commented it in, but I was loving Wrath up until, and we were doing Ulduar hard modes weekly up until my account got stolen when I was like 3 or 4 shards away from getting my legendary for my guild, and it got stolen and I couldn't get it back. I quit Wrath completely at that point. It was heartbreaking. I had spent so much time on that account.
Yeah. Also, Ulduar was just so much longer. Like you can't sit down and pug it in a night with a lot of people.
No.
Like I was also, other than the shards, I was also 1 month what are they called? I was 1 month like holiday event away from having Violet Proto Drake. 1 month shy of Violent Proto Drake, and he got robbed.
Right. I mean,
I would definitely say
I don't
that. Go on, Hammer. Sorry.
Curly Bros brought up a good point. I just pinned it right here. He said, I think times have changed a lot and most people don't want to grind a game anymore during their limited time because of adult life and whatnot. And like, yeah, there is a lot of truth to this, right? Like I have a kid. I have like stuff to do every day and all this stuff. Granted, I like do this as my job, but at the same time, I don't think that there's anything wrong with giving an option for everybody, Curly. That's all I'm trying to say is that I think that maybe it would, like, maybe I'm completely wrong, actually. And maybe if it was super hard and we had to like actually prog through these raids like 2 nights a week raiding for like 2 or 3 hours, and maybe we'd fucking hate it. Like, who knows, right? All I'm saying is that it definitely could just be a little bit more challenging. You know what I mean? Like, not just like, you shouldn't be able to just walk through everything. That's all I'm saying is there's definitely like a middle ground where like for people who want to be sweaty and want to parse and like want to do everything perfect and all that, like that's still a thing. And it is a thing already, but it's so incredibly easy to clear the content that it's almost like it's just a chore, right? You're like, all right, it's Wednesday. Let's fucking log on and just walk through this raid real quick and then log on to my other character in an hour and a half. Like, it should be a little bit more than that. That's all I was basically saying.
All I've got to look forward to right now is chasing down a Parse Lord that is undefeated in 3 phases with credit card spec. I can't catch him.
You're never gonna beat credit card spec, dude. Don't even try, Puddin.
All right, just going off the parses. Okay, like we've talked about this, but I don't think Shivy's heard it. The number 1 parser for prop paladins. And he's been number 1 for 3 phases now. He is doing 1200 DPS on Hakar. My best is 400.
Yeah, well, that's no world buffs and that's kill time.
That's not only just credit card spec. That's also guilds basing everything around one player. Like, what's the name of that warrior
Alando.
That guild?
Alando.
Everybody just gets.
Like I said, I inspected this guy. He is definitely credit card spec. He has got over 10,000 gold worth of items and shit on his character. Ain't no way he's out farming that.
Yeah,
he's just a better player. That's it.
I mean,
definitely the chair.
Rixa brought it up, and Cheese brought it up earlier, saying just add challenge modes for cosmetics and titles, and I think that would be just a sick thing to do. Like, it doesn't separate the player base in any way in terms of like like character power or progression. Mm-hmm. Like, I mean, progression it does, not power, right? Like see it does give you a sense of progression over other people, and I think that would be pretty good.
I think it's also nice to see like some diversity when you go into a major city. Not everybody has the exact same gear and everything. Like, that's kind of what made Classic cool, is all these random sets and mismatches and like getting random gear.
You looked ugly as shit, but in a good way.
Yeah,
you play a boomkin. We can't ever see your gear.
Hey, you know,
you get to be a nice feathered boomkin that matches.
Yeah,
I'm prettier that way.
But all right, we're coming up on like almost 3 hours here, so I feel like we should cut this off. I think Semp has fallen asleep, and
a quick change. A quick change for Simp I'd like to see. Okay, if I could have one change cosmetic wise in the game, make metamorphosis form scale to whatever your race is. Like, if you're a gnome, be a gnome
mini ass metamorphosis, dude.
That
would be sick. I'm not gonna lie.
I can go a little longer. I've just drank quite the
Are you sure, Simp?
I'm also, to be fair, I've also just really, I've got my ass kicked at work the past like 5 days. The past 5 days we've averaged. The past 5 days at work, we've averaged 3 call-ins a day.
Well, we're gonna keep like next phase talk. We'll do that next week. We'll talk about next phase, things that we want to see, things that we think might be coming, anything like that. But I mean, we really covered a lot of shit tonight. So, I mean, if anyone else has anything else they want to bring up before we close out, go for it now. If not, we'll close it out and we'll do it again next week.
I mean, I think we pretty much talked about everything that is like there is to be talked about right now.
Yeah, I think so.
I mean,
too.
we can sit
I
here
want a
and
pizza.
yeah, like we can sit here and like bullshit about what Phase 4 will bring and how it'll be, but at the end of the day, it's like 95% of the things we'll probably say won't happen.
Yeah,
we can talk about how I'm not a good tank.
Well, we don't really need to talk that much about that. It's just
we figured out you weren't a good
itself.
tank when you, me, and Robbie did a pug horde raid with 2 war. Like we only wiped once the entire Nomad raid. That's when we figured out y'all were bad tanks.
Yeah,
Free goose.
It happens.
Free goose. Where's Goose, dude? Goose.
Locked away somewhere.
Where the hell is he, dude?
Dude, Goose is like level 42, bro. He's up there.
He would be fucking insane on here. We got to get him on here for the next one.
Goose is doing 90 in the Prius. He's gonna make it.
What's that? We gotta get Goose on the next one, man.
Yes, please.
But yeah, I think this is a good spot to end it. I mean, if you guys have, I know most of you guys don't stream or make content or anything, but if anyone here does, I know Shibby, you do have a Twitch channel. If you want to drop your handles, go ahead and plug that. It's completely up to you. I will put everyone's stuff. All right, yeah, I'll put everyone's stuff in the description regardless.
I don't really
stream. Cheese in the chat. I want my offerings back.
I know.
You can send me small gold donations to my character Cheese.
Don't do it. Don't do
it. Send them to my character Cheese Bags.
Glorious needs gold. Send Glorious gold.
You know, Rixa in the chat, Shibby, is the other druid.
Rixa
is frustrated.
I thought Rixa was a hunter.
He was in phase 1, but he's been maining druid, and him and Shibby were like neck and neck for like one of the top ranks at one point. He posted a screenshot. But anyway, yeah, we'll cut it off here. It's been a long ass. This is like 3 hours here of just straight fucking drinking.
Yeah, I'm gonna go get in the hot tub.
So yeah,
you have a hot tub, man. You're over here calling me rich.
I still wanted to say that I really appreciate the opportunity. I think it was a pretty nice idea. We were talking about idiotic things on Discord anyway, but now we had an organized manner to talk about.
Exactly. We'll be doing it at least once a week. So, you know, we'll have everyone on. Whoever wants to come on can come on. There's no limit.
This stream is sponsored by G2G.
This stream is sponsored by G2G.
Bring it on, baby.
Sponsored by Raid Shadow Legends.
Bring it on, baby. 12.
Yeah.
$12 gets you about 150 gold.
Yeah.
Have you been contacted by Raid yet, Hammer?
No, I haven't. No.
Really?
No, I actually haven't gotten a single sponsorship on this channel. I get a ton on my main channel all the time for like webcams and shit. And I have not gotten a single one yet on this channel. I'm very surprised.
Oh, dude, I need to see Hammer's I need to see a Hammer advertisement for Manscaped. I need to see his.
I haven't got Manscaped yet. Jokes. I have not got Manscaped yet. But all right, yeah, we'll end it here. We'll be live again next week. We'll do another one. Not sure what day. I will post about it. It depends. Like if good information comes out at the beginning of the week, we'll maybe do it, Monday, Tuesday. If some stuff comes out towards the middle end of the week. We do have the Cataclysm pre-patch going live next week, so maybe that's something to talk about. But we're mostly sod people here, so we could talk a little bit about Cataclysm. Depends how much we get into it, right? But yeah, anyways, that's it. So hopefully this was enjoyable for everybody. I definitely am going to eat a pizza after this. And thank you to Semp, Shibby, Glorious Pudding, everyone for coming on. You guys are more than welcome to come on anytime you want. Just let me know. We'll do this once a week.
Don't go get pizza. Go get some glizzies.
I wish, dude. I ate a glizzy yesterday. I ate a
lay down some glizzy destruction.
I ate a 1/4 pounder foot long Coney Island chili cheese dog.
Holy shit, bro.
And I felt amazing after eating that. I loved it so much.
I ordered Panda Express and it's sitting in my kitchen right now.
Oh my god.
I got half a Subway to finish over here.
All right, I'm gonna cut this out. Thank you guys for coming on. Hopefully we do this again next week. It was a lot of fun, and I'll talk to you guys on Discord.
Later.
Peace.
Later.